Welcome, everyone, to the final race in Season 4 in the HTL Cup Series season. Welcome to Auto Club Speedway. Welcome to Fontana, California. Once again, the host of the season finale, the championship round of the HTL Cup Series here in 2024. Tonight's race comes down to this. 4 drivers, 1 opportunity. A new champion will be crowned here tonight. Welcome everyone to ABN1 and coverage of the HTL Cup Series. I'm Carmen, Sienna, alongside me Kevin Young to present you the racing tonight. It is Fontana in a position we've seen it before, just as intense, just as full of energy, just as full of intensity as it's ever been. Kevin, this track is very unique, very special to a lot of drivers, a lot of teams, a lot of fans. What are these drivers dealing with here tonight?
Well, Fontana is definitely, for a lot of the series, under the ABN banner, or at least on the ABN network, is a finale track, and it always seems to provide some great racing throughout. Obviously, it's a kind of a multi-group track to a degree, so lanes can form up, and drivers can feel a little bit cautious of where they want to pick a lane. And as the run goes on, drivers will slowly migrate as tires wear. They'll change the line to adjust accordingly. But under these nice, bright lights of the night sky here in virtual California, it's going to be quite interesting to see. But you're going to see a lot of 3-4 wide and on restarts going in the one. That is for tooting. And you're going to see a lot of throws down the inside to try to slide job to make passes.
It's going to be a lot of fun here this evening as we get ready to go. Here tonight, it's the Cup Series finale here on ABN. 4 drivers to keep an eye on here in tonight's conversation. One of them is going to be Josh Soucy here, the 81, who is not on track at the moment. Josh Soucy, Brennan Proudfoot, Bianca Constantinou, and Shad Swatsworth. Shad Swatsworth, one of those on track at the moment. Let's see if we can get a good look at him. There he is, the 18 machine on track here. Shad Swatsworth coming in with house money. One of 4 drivers here, has been a phenomenal force in the playoffs to this point. Last round finished 3rd and 2nd the entire round. Those entire 3 races, he was never outside the podium places. You see him reset there to set back in. He's in 10th in the times at the moment, but he was a contender. He was a threat here last season. He's finished 2nd in the championship twice in a row. Season 2, he finished 2nd to Matthew Boone. Last season, finished 2nd to Zach Meredith. The cards are stacked against Shad Swatsworth. There's 2 teammates for Lady Liberty Motorsports in Josh Soucy and Brennan Proudfoot. Then it's Bianca Constantinou, who I think may be the biggest underdog here, having won mostly, almost entirely on road courses to enter this point in the season. Bianca Constantinou sitting right now in the 23rd position, I believe, on pit lane at the moment as things currently stand.
You are correct, 23rd. But I think for a kind of retro point, though, is remember, Constantinou did something that Swatsworth did not do and won a race to punch their ticket into the Final Four, and they won it on an oval. So you can't count out Constantinou. Even though she's a bit of an underdog, she's shown that she can show up when the lights are the brightest, when the pressure's on, and clinch a spot in the Final Four. So even though she may not be the odds-on favorite per se, as she is a little bit stronger on road courses and also doesn't have a teammate in the field, you can't count her out. So we'll see how she can do along with the other 3 championship contenders. But I know for one fact, I know, at least for you, Carmen, if that 18 can find its way into victory lane or win the championship, you'll be smiling from either at least seeing your ownership car take that trophy and possibly the checkered flag.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting being in this position before. Obviously, Caitlin Height was in the Final Four last season, battling for the championship. This is not an unfamiliar spot as a team owner. However, up here it is genuinely anything goes. Basically, up here it is business at hand for everyone racing the night. 28 cars on track here. Just now joining the track, Caleb Eichler getting on track here. 28 cars, really good field, really good turnout for the final race of the season. Obviously postponed a week because of the rained out 500 that happened on Monday last week. Then when interfere allowed some drivers to be able to fly back and get home to take part in this event. So we're going to have a pretty solid, pretty stout field here tonight to get things started for us here in Fontana. This is, again, the final race of the season in Fontana, race 23 of 23, the championship round. 4 drivers on level footing. It is simply be the best of those 4 and be the champion in season 4. Josh Susie, currently the fastest. Fastest doesn't typically turn out to be the one that wins the race. We saw that last season. Hunter Peach grabbed his first race win in HTL competition. So far, it's been his only race win. He's 13th fastest at the moment in practice. He was in a similar situation last season as well. Turn on the jets when the pressure got higher. As you see, Eichler's going to take a hard hit to the inside wall there, and he will reset. Pacey Wygant just reset to pit lane, I do believe. He's got a little bit something to fight as well. That 24 car is in the Owners' Championship bracket. So there is a fight there going on that is a little bit different than the Drivers' Championship. We'll have to follow both of them as the night goes on. The situation is the same. Best one wins in this situation. Let's go ahead and break it down for you here in the points situation. So the final 4, very simplistic here. It's Proudfoot, Bianca Constantinou, Slotsworth, and Susie. They come in level footing. There's no stage points tonight. Simply finish first. That's a big deal. Last season, the champion did not win this race. That's something to keep an eye on here tonight. Obviously, a little bit more variables in play. Owner's Championship standing is equally just as intense. It is Lady Liberty Motorsports, that 31 that is being piloted by Brandon Proudfoot. You have the 24 by Pacey Wygant. You have the 18 for Arrowhead Racing. So you have Chad Swatsworth's car in there, and then you have the 81 of Josh Susie. So the 31, the 81, and the 18 fighting for the same keeps. 77 Motorsports, that 61 car, not in the conversation. Didn't even make the playoffs in the owner standings. 61's not in the conversation for the owner playoffs here. It's Pacey Wygant in that 4th spot for the owners. So keep an eye on that. This is very important. There's 5 drivers all fighting for a championship here. 4 for the drivers, 5 for the owners. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on here. And again, no stage points. It's simply best driver finishes. It is all super important here, but also very straightforward and simple. Just win. That is the objective, and that is so easy to say as someone who has not been on track with drivers as intense, as competitive as this. But the objective is simply to win.
I mean, to quote a legendary owner, I think you'll understand where this reference is going, Carmen. Al Davis, just win, baby. That's what these drivers have to do if you want to win the championship here tonight. It's straightforward, and all the drivers know the mission statement, and it's not going to make those nerves come any less. It's not going to make these drivers sit here and be like, all right, I know I got to win, when this field has been how strong it is. And it could just take one incident, one situation, one bad pit stop. We saw in countless series we've covered with this playoff format, where it just took one bad strategy call, one bad time pit stop, one bad caution at the wrong time, one whatever happening, and it takes you out of contention to win this championship for better or worse. So we've seen it happen time and time and time again. So there's no reprieve. There's no rest. You've done the work, the hard part, to qualify for this. You've set yourself on the golden road, as we see Proudfoot there on track. Now the question is, can you finish it off? Or is it going to feel for some of these drivers at the end of this, maybe a wasted season? They can't hoist that trophy above their heads when we get 125 laps finished here tonight.
With practice time winding down, it is very important to talk about silly season, because as you mentioned, Kevin, there is some drivers coming back here already for a 5th season. They're coming back here in April to take part in Season 5. Some drivers are not. Brandon Proudfoot, driver center of your screen, is a driver we don't know where he's going. We thought he was secure in Lady Liberty Motorsports. That may not be the case. What is that going to look like in April for Proudfoot? Obviously, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. If he steps back, who replaces him in that 31? We're going to find out as time gets ready to go here. But it's a lot of drivers in that situation. Hunter Peach, Pacey Wygent, Byron Jones. The silly season and the driver's market that is in that silly season is about to be very, very intense. Qualifying getting set to take place here. For the final time, we get to have something unique for qualifying. HTL Cup Series procedure, single car qualifying, one car at a time. We get to see every car run. It's a special part of HTL Cup Series qualifying, or the HTL Cup Series event of the aura to these events. We get to see that in full force one more time in Season 4.
Yeah, it is a unique experience here to watch this coming in after not being in a series that has us to seeing this. It's a very unique experience. It's fun to watch. You get to truly see each driver get a chance. Unlike in the one shot, even though it's a little bit quicker, it's in the one shot situation or in a situation where we see everyone go at once. It's a situation where we don't get to see everyone's lines. Here, you kind of can dissect everyone's lines, see as the track evolves, see how drivers improve or not improve a run, and see how it all shakes up. And to kind of add one more point to what you were talking about in the free agents situation, Carmen, remember, there's also a truck series HTL just had. It finished its first season last week after, because it would have been back-to-back, but obviously Daytona pushing it back. There are some hungry truck drivers that had great seasons that are possibly going to be on the phone right now with some of these teams, calling them up saying, hey, we have an opening. Hey, we're letting our driver go. Hey, our driver's stepping back from full-time competition, and we would like you to jump up. So there's a lot of hungry truck drivers that are looking for that opportunity to run full-time and show they deserve to drive with the best of HTL, and it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out in the silly season. But as the first car pulls out on qualifying, it's going to be the 5 of Brent Roberts. Just last night, he was in Las Vegas for the A² Cup Series race. Now coming back here in a similar Cup car on the high banks of Fontana, as he is going to be the first driver to set a quality run here in that 5 machine.
Keep an eye on this 5 car. This car, obviously you saw the wheel spin there on the initial start. That may be a black flag. That could be a black flag for crossing the pit exit line. Obviously, we'll see here if he does this run. Warming up the bus here. Full speed, only one hot lap here.
Yep.
So,
short track,
gotta make it count.
2. Short tracks, it's 2. It's only 1 for the big tracks like this. You get 1 attempt. You don't get a second lap to make it, so you have to make sure you get your tires, your gauges, everything adjusted, and then make it run here and count. Luckily, this track being so wide, it's not as penalizing to really hit the wall. We've seen it other 1.5-mile tri-ovals where drivers can push a little bit too much on the throttle and hit it. The risk here, obviously, is if the car washes out, you may shave off a bit too much speed. That could really affect your run and really affect your line. But pinching the bottom here, trying to get on the throttle as late as he dares, drifts up, maybe could have drifted up a bit more. Right now, at the moment, this lap seems to be legal. No pedally raft at the moment. Cross the line for the 5. First lap he's going to set, and the only lap will be a 39.99. That is going to be the torch-bearing lap. This time that every other driver will have to lunch over if they want to be on the pole position. Now moving on swiftly to the 45 machine next of Caleb Eichler. Caleb Eichler has been slowly making improvements. We've seen in the Truck Series and the Cup Series, slowly been getting that car closer and closer to the front, looking to maybe end this season on a high and try to set himself up nicely for the next season on the horizon.
Yeah, Caleb Eichler here in the 45 in his tenure with Arrowhead Racing in that Toyota squad. One of the drivers that's going to be entering the silly season market here. Whether it's a part-time as a full-time driver remains to be seen, but Eichler coming out of turn 4. This is to finish his lap. Connor Morris on track to begin his lap as well. Eichler not going to be as fast as a lap. 40.634 will be second fastest, well shy of Brent Roberts.
Now up to Connor Morse, like you were saying, right now going to start his lap as well here. That 34, you usually see that being driven by, I believe, Bobby Blowers, but in this situation right now, obviously a fill-in ride here for Connor, and we'll see what he can do with this opportunity he has been given. But kind of to go back to the point there as well, this is a situation where it's obviously the championship. This is a situation where we're dealing with the championship and the drivers and the owners on that regard. But it's also a situation where, again, if a driver knows he's not going to have a ride next season or looking for an open market, this is a last chance to prove yourself, a last chance to say, hey, I won this race. I finished top 5. This is why you should give me a chance for next season. and take that to an owner and say, this is why I should be on the track next season. So a lot of drivers that may not have that security are going to lay it all out on the line to prove their point. And as the 34 crosses the line right now, that is going to be the fastest lap on the board. He'll take P1 away from Brendan Roberts, 39.92 for his efforts.
Mark Parker's getting on track now. The number 90, Monster Energy, new look for that car in time for the final race of the season. Parkhurst, a little bit latency there for Parkhurst, not good.
Yeah, he's been blinking
that can
down
really
the
affect
straight.
the lap time.
Yeah, he was blinking down the front straight there when he's about to take the flag there, so, and it's still not really settling.
And you're seeing that issue with Parkhurst. It's resetting the timing lines as well. This could, without touching the wall, he could have an invalid lap time here with how many timing lines he's skipping over right now.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that point, but that's at least 3 blinks so far on this lap, and also Star in the lane, he blinked another one. Looks like it won't even cross the line. It will cross the line on no blink, cross the line. It's going to be P3. It's going to be a
40.335, yeah.
Thank you. Lost in my numbers there. So not the best at lap for the number 90 machine, but at least he's half of that lap counted. Moving on nicely to the 21 of Alfred Denny. He'll be up next here. He's the one also calculating the points throughout this season as well. Luckily, not hard math tonight he'll have to deal with. Straightforward, whoever will be the champion. All of us will know who the champion and the constructors champion is, and the owners and drivers at the end of this race. Alfred Denny obviously looking to have a good run here and finish off the season with a high with that number 21 machine.
Big changes coming up for Alfred Denny. Deep Racing going to look a lot different. Denny is set to be moving to a new team. None of that's been formally announced just yet, but Denny looking to move on and have a new start entering Season 4, he'll start provisionally P3, 40.169 for Alfred Denny. And that number 21, from 21 to 61, here is the first of 4 championship contenders for the driver's standings. Bianca Constantinou, winner last time out at Watkins Glen. Won at most of the road courses bar Daytona earlier in the season. Also won at Talladega in the playoffs. Comes in as the biggest underdog of the championship contenders across the board. Looking to find some pace, looking to find a little bit of luck. Is that going to be on Constantinou's side? Constantinou cuts it really short there out of turn 4. Across the start-finish line, 39.973 is not enough for provisional pole. It's enough, though, for a provisional front row behind Connor Morris, with Byron Jones up next, who is looking to extend on his successes here at the Auto Club Speedway. And number 19, a new look for him. A lot of cars bringing out some nighttime specials. Obviously, we're in qualifying, so we're not going to see them quite as exuberant and as flashy as what we would see, obviously, under the lights here. But
they're not.
We're going to have a chance here. But this time looks pretty decent for Byron Jones.
I would agree with that point here. We'll obviously get a good indicator here on the exit here out of 4. Looking pretty good right now. I think it's trending in the right direction. I see it may be a provisional pole run for the number 19 across the line. It will not be.
Lost a lot in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah.
40.401. It looked really good out of turn 1 and 2, but he lost it all in the second half of the lap. Hunter Peach, winner of this race last season.
And that's the risk here as well. Obviously, the corners are slightly different through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there's about changing your timing, changing how you get the line. And you could run 1 and 2 perfectly, but if you can't get it right in 3 and 4, there's always that risk that you could shave off time in the wrong way and could really affect your run here. So as Hunter Peach comes down the backstretch here, like you were saying, Carmen, won last season at Fontana, looking to go back-to-back here. Obviously, just looking for a strong run here in that number 1 here. Looking okay at the moment. Want to get as much on the throttle as you can here. It's looking all right here. Gonna cut the dog like here. Obviously, a risk is if you go a little bit too low and clip the grass, that will be an invalidation. Will be perfectly fine here for the 1. It's only gonna be good for P5, right between Alfred Denny and Parkhurst. So again, left a lot of time on the board. Moving on next to Callie Height in the number 3. Obviously, she's run similar numbers, similar paint scheme for most of this year in that similar Paula's choice, not Pauly, Paula's choice, number 3 here, as she's looking to get a good run here and end this season on a high note as well. Looking all right through 1 and 2 right now on the times, but gonna have to find a little bit extra time here for 3 and 4 if she wants it. And we'll see what she can do in that 3. Again, going to go low. Not as low. We've seen a lot of those cars go in the previous run. Going about the second groove there. Gets back on the throttle. And as she comes off, going to cut the dog leg. Can she beat the time Morris sets? Across the line for the 3. And it's going to be P4. Ahead of Alfred Denny, but still not in that top 3 range that is separated by about a 10th, if you will.
William Britton up next, filling in the number 16 for NFG Motorsports. Seeing what he can do here. William Britton drifts out just a little bit wide.
A good run last week at Bristol. Played the strategy right. Ended up thinking a top 10 if I'm not mistaken. So looking to keep that momentum going high here. But that drift out wide, not the greatest. Like how he's running a blacked out kind of scheme here, at least a little bit on the side there. But in the pitch bright, it doesn't pop as well. So he's coming off in 3 and 4 here. Can drift wide now. Going to get as low as he can. Cut the dog leg. Cross the line. The number 16 will do. And it will be P6. Took a second there update. Right again, a lot of these last drivers here we've seen Peach, Height, Denny, Britton, Jones, all been in, maybe not as much Jones, but all of them have been in this bubble here. So it's kind of interesting to see as this runs go on. We'll see if anyone can break out of that bubble, and we'll see the next driver do it is the 91 of Rodriguez. We'll see what they can do here, and if they can maybe get out and get in that top 3 echelon there.
Yeah, you're Rodriguez in the 91 for Ascent Racing Uncharted. What does next season look like for Rodriguez? A lot of drivers shuffling around. Rodriguez, one of those that is right now in the shuffle in the silly season. Needs one last prove yourself sort of event here to see if he can get one of those protected rides in season 5. That's a really good qualifying effort. P2 puts Constantinu off the front row. And moves Rodriguez in the 91 into the front row. Kevin Gibney for Lady Liberty Motorsports. Obviously, he's pretty well secured team owner. Sitting in number 8. Was expected to take a step back from driving duties. Obviously, driver shuffles mid-season. Kind of put a kibosh on that. But Denny on the back straightaway. Coasting through, just kind of getting through this season here. Also running part-time in the ABN Champ Car World Series. Our Kevin Gibney Jr., a former winner in the HTL Cup Series, won at Richmond in Season 2, trying to break one of the longest winless droughts in HTL competition. He's going to have a pretty low starting position as all things are considered. 40.374 for Kevin Gibney, puts him provisionally 10th, with a lot of quick drivers coming up, including this driver right here, the Lilac Zier for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Her teammate Constantine, who's already run. Now it's Zier's turn to run. And that Cherry Vanilla Bang Energy Ford Mustang. Rolling around out of turn 2. She's a driver who's been competitive all weekend long in the ARC circuit at Bristol and at Las Vegas. Trying to carry that over here tonight.
Very interesting not to see her with a Ford sticker plastered on it, because usually when I do see her running these machines, she just has a Ford sticker somewhere in plain visibility. But with the Bang Cherry Ice, another energy drink on the sponsorship of the hood of another HTL car, we'll see if that provides the energy to put down a good lap. Across the line, Zier goes, and that's going to be P5, basically tied with Callie Height there, but in the iRacing eyes, she had the advantage, so she will take P5. Callie Height will move down to P number 6. TJ Trout up next in number 64 here, keeping the energy drink theme rolling here. Another Bang energy machine. This time, though, not 100% what flavor that is, but pink and blue, I would guess. Maybe something with watermelon or strawberry. But anyway, as the 64 gets a good runoff here, 1 and 2 here as well in that Ford Mustang. Good at the road courses, DJ Trout is. Also showed some great pace at the ovals. Top 10, top 15 car most weekends. Looking to try to maybe get a little bit higher up here as they go through 3 and 4 here in that Mustang. Pinches it low, drifts wide, gets as low as they dare. Nice exit there, does not touch the wall, going to come down the line. Was enough time not shaved off to make this good. Cross the line, the 64 goes.
That's going to be a good lap time. P2.
P2 right there tied with Yair Rodriguez, but can still not beat the time Connor Morse has set. Morse still the top of the board in that number 34. Moving on nice to Zachary Meredith. Zachary Meredith is the last race he can say he is the defending champion, because after this we will have a new champion. It will not be him. Had a bit of a championship slump here, but at the very least looking to end this season on a high and try to chase out to more glory next season. The 17 National Guard machine. The camo machine, so you can barely see it if this was in a forest environment. But as it goes down low in 3 and 4, and similar run we've seen from Trout, Rodriguez, Morse, Constantinu, goes as low as they dare. Now going to try to cut the apron, not going to cut it as quickly. We'll see if that affects the times. Across the line to 17, and that's going to be top of the board there. P1 for Zachary Meredith right there.
Really good lap there by NFG. Zach Meredith definitely going to try to go out swinging here in Season 4. Lily Peltier-Sharp still looking for her first win in HTL competition. Up next here on the board, and then Zach Apperson for Tombstone Motorsports. Peltier-Sharp trying to end this season on a high note for Coast to Coast Racing. Coast to Coast leaving this series at the end of the season. Wygen trying to bring a championship to that team. In the process, Peltier-Sharp, where is she going? Where's her ride going to be in Season 5?
Yep.
We have yet to figure that out.
High-profile free agent. Obviously, she's been looking the past couple weeks to find a ride after she got dropped from her first team. Cross the line, she will go. And it's only going to be good enough for P12, so left some time on the board there. It's hoping to go a little bit faster for 0.42 off the pole position. They've got to make some up in the race. That will pivot us to the Tombstone Racing driver of Zachary Apperson in the number 4 machine. Another energy drink sponsor here as well, as we'll see coming off through 1 and 2 here in number 4, looking again to maybe get a good finish here and set themselves up for a good next season.
Yeah, Apperson, it's Tombstone Motorsport teammates back-to-back. Apperson and Henderson both going to be setting lap times here pretty quickly. Apperson on the bottom of the racetrack here, using up all the racetrack there, maximizing the exit here, not going down to the dog leg.
Oh,
that's going to be a really interesting lap. 7th place, though. That could have been a really good lap if he had just run the traditional line. He decided not to carry as much speed as possible, but it's the longer way around, unfortunately, and that all really matters when you talk about fractions of a second. Blake Henderson up next. New look for him, the WWE 2K24 on that car. We've seen it once before. We saw it when it was Cody Rhodes on the car. Now it's Rhea Ripley, hot off the heels of the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event.
Yep. Back in my day, we called them pay-per-views at the very least. But as the Rhea Ripley machine here, just coming from the down under, can the Judgment Day inspired machine bring judgment to the field here? Going to take the traditional line down through the dog leg, across the line for the 25. And it's going to be only P8, so right around the teammate of Apperson. More importantly, Apperson's strategy seemed to pay off, as he's one of the higher Tombstone Racing drivers as he bests Blake Henderson. That will move us on now to the 24, Pacey Wygen, one of the 4 cars in the ownership battle here. Obviously not fighting for a championship in the drivers category, but if he can be the highest of the 4 in the ownership standings, he will bring home a championship for the 24 in the owners category. Right now, though, looking for a good run here in a pink and black Simware race machine. New look for him as well.
Yeah, Pacey Wygen, well, you know how good he is at Fontana. Won the race in the Truck Series on Tuesday. Obviously 6 days removed from that, looking to try to do it again. A lot of racing in between now and then. And he just went top of the board by a decent margin too. 39.819 for Pacey Wygen, top of the board. Gary Donaldson, the 3rd Tombstone Motorsports car, that iconic at this point Under Armour number 22. Gonna hit the track. Donaldson looking to see if he can join his teammates. They're in the top 10. Apperson 8th, Henderson 9th for Tombstone Motorsports. Can Donaldson join them in the board here? We're gonna find out.
He's been knocking on the door this season. It's been kind of close getting a win. Just hasn't been able really to get that true win here. Again, maybe it's what the doctors ordered here at Fontana. Maybe the sunny beaches can provide something. Across the line, the 22 will go, and it will only be good enough for 19, so not a good run there. Second slowest out of all the cars that have run so far. So Donaldson hoping that the bright skies may have affected that car a little bit much, and the night skies can make a good run happen here. So that's going to move us on next to Josh Arnold in the number 55 machine. Arnold obviously was in the round of 8 last week, well, 2 weeks ago I should say, but sadly was not able to advance the final 4 after some issues at Bristol. We'll just leave it on that note. But still not going to let him dampen his spirits here in the Auburn Tigers 55, as he's going to try to finish out the season well, and like similar to what happened last year in the Real Life Cup Series, like Chastain, try to win it and maybe be a bit of a spoiler, the Championship 4, trying to have hopes and dreams tonight. So across the line, the 55 will go, and it's going to be P3, right between Morse and Meredith. So as this run's gone on, we've seen as obviously it's set up so the stronger cars from last week qualify later. That's going to be a good run for the 55 P3 provisionally. That will move us on to the 10 next. The 10 of Bobby Blowers doing a fill-in ride here, if I'm not mistaken, as we'll see what Bobby Blowers can do here in this Toyota machine. Gonna go oddly different line there through 1 and 2. They're usually drivers sweeping a little bit lower, keeping that middle of the high groove here. Blowers feels some confidence in it. We'll see what he can do in 3 and 4 here. He's gonna try to run the wall, and I think he may have just hit the wall. We'll see if this lap still counts.
Yeah, trying to be a little bit bold there. I don't think it paid off quite that way.
No.
Yeah, and it's
lap
a race
invalidated.
Yeah, it's an invalid lap time. There's on Eli Sasek, who is also running the high lane here to warm up the buses and try to set a lap time here. Pressure's on.
Yeah, last week had a horrible qualifying. We actually ended up getting, I believe, black flag through the qualifying and could not put down a good time. And that ended up putting him in a bad hole he could not dig himself out of. So we'll see the 9, though, taking a more conventional line here. Going to go similar to the low side, second groove here. We'll see indicative what 3 and 4 does, but you want to go just a tad lower 3 and 4. 9, though, looking good right there in that new Camry updated body. See if Eli Sasek, how brave he is in 3 and 4, and maybe, again, be one of those drivers that's looking to play spoiler, and he's going to go way low, almost pinch the apron there. Going to accelerate out. It's looking good right now. I feel all right. Purple sector 1. So this looks like it could be a pull run here. Going to tap the apron, cross the line. The 9 will go, and it's going to be P2. Just shaved off a little bit too much time there. At least he's on the front row provisionally for now, but going to be kicking himself. He couldn't bump that 24 off, and now will move us nicely to next car in line.
Yeah, Chet Slotsworth here. Another one of the championship contenders, the second of the championship contenders. Proudfoot and Susie we'll see later on in this session. Slotsworth out of turn 2. Looks pretty planted there. Doesn't look like it washed out too often much there on those colder tires. Obviously, the tires still building up temperature as this run goes on. It's all about 3 and 4 and how you make it here. Slotsworth, how well does he keep it planted there on the inside lane? It's bumpy on an inside lane. Looks like a pretty good run here. All the racetrack in use for Slotsworth, the 18 car. Where is he going to place in qualifying across the line? It's not going to be near the front of the field. 8th fastest for Slotsworth, but it's a workable place to be at the moment with just a handful of cars left to go, including his championship adversary, Josh Susie, who's in the wall.
Oh, he is.
Susie tagged the wall. This is going to really hinder his qualifying run because he's lost all the momentum out of 4. You need to have a really good exit lap and a really good warm-up lap here to really generate that qualifying lap time. He's not going to have that now because he spent time in the wall. He had to shave, and he's already in trouble here. He's going to tag the wall again.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Susie, his championship ambition, on the wrong side of it. He will be at the back of the field, and in a terrible way, that car is destroyed on the inside lane. And now it's going to be Kalen Height, who's not had very fun feelings of this track. Won this race in the earlier part of the season. Coming back here, this is the race last season that cost Kalen Height the championship. Being involved in contact early, trying to play the redeeming route. Kalen Height coming to start her lap.
Yeah,
Arrowhead Racing's lead driver.
Yeah, we'll see what she can do here on that lap. Just kind of finish a point there on Sosi. You can see the frustration when he kind of hit that wall 2 times. And it's not impossible to come back from that far back, but at the very least right now, he's looking to be at the very least P28 or 27, depending on how he shaked up with Bobby Blowers. Based on number, he should actually be 28th. So gonna have to do a back-to-front challenge, last first challenge, if he likes his odds. But we'll talk about the car currently qualifying. Caitlin Height right now at the moment. Sector 1 times look all right in comparison, running similar times to what Pacey Wygant did. So we'll see if this is going to be indicative of the line. 3 and 4, if she can keep it planted. Maybe should drift up just a bit more, but it looks like it's still going to be golden. Across the line, the 11 will go, and it's going to be not golden enough. It's only going to be P9 for the 11. So definitely not a great lap per se, but still top 10. So at very least, that's a good. And that, I think, is going to do it for qualifying here.
Yeah, Caitlin Height, winner at Bristol, was the last one. 2 set of qualifying lap time there. Susie, Blowers, Proudfoot, Whitlock, Moutre, and Gaiman not setting lap times in the session, with now the final warm-up here in the session. Green flag out for warm-up. We'll talk about the actual starting grid here in just a moment. But now it's time for everyone to get ready to go. Brandon Proudfoot, immediately one of the first ones out here. It's time to get down to business here in Fontana. Proudfoot, one of the first ones out on track. Same with Josh Arnold. You're going to see a lot of drivers practice pit entry too. This is a race where if you see pit lane, green flag, and whoa, trouble for Proudfoot. Not where he wanted to be there. He's going to check up here big time.
It's interesting because both Proudfoot and Zosi are going to have to come from the back here. Meanwhile, the competitors, then the other two in the drivers and the owner standings. Pacey Wygant, obviously the only car not running in the drivers, but the owners took pole position, and the highest of the drivers that set times in quality for the drivers championship was blanking right now. It's the not Constantinu, Proudfoot,
Swatsworth.
Thank you. I was blanking on the name for a second there. I was like, I pictured the double mitten car, but I was like, who is the mystery person behind that wheel? Swatsworth went the fastest. So Swatsworth, at least at the moment, has the advantage at the time being, but you never can count out these drivers in the Final Four. Very strong field. That's why they're here. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. I mean, look at a couple weeks ago when we saw Sosi do basically, he thought he was done and had an incident and was able to drive it back to the top 5. So far from set in stone based on qualifying here. But with 3 minutes to go, right now top of the board is Zachary Meredith, who set the fastest lap, but obviously practice times, warm times, not as indicative as race times. A lot of these drivers going to use this opportunity to practice pit road entry and exit and get some last minute practice here with the dirty air to figure out what their cars can do in this twilight situation.
Yeah, a little bit under 3 minutes here to go in the season. Final warm-up. You're seeing Swatsworth there with Wygant as well. That's very important. Kind of trying to gauge yourself compared to the fastest car on the track at the moment. Swatsworth, obviously 4th car in line here behind Blowers and Sear, as well as Wygant, washing up just a little bit, trying to find that clean air. 5 realistic lanes you can run here at Fontana. The important thing, you see those darker lines separating the lanes. Those are the rubberized seams. Don't want to touch those too often much. Cross over those at the wrong point, car can go around sideways. In the daytime, a lot less grip. They get very slick. Going into the nighttime, there's more grip. So it feels like it bites all of a sudden, and then you get off of that seam as you're trying to cross over it, and that grip goes away from the front of the car, and it shoots the car out wide. You see cars just kind of just take off towards the wall. Very inverted effect here. Right now, should be a pretty reasonable temperature for both asphalt and rubberized seam, but it'll tip over in favor of running the asphalt, not the rubberized seam, as this race goes along. So it'll be very important to see how the drivers handle that as this racetrack transitions from the sunset into the deep darkness with the lights on later on here this evening. Everyone running around pretty well hot and steady here. Proudfoot's the fastest on track here in final warm-up. Swatsworth, Susie, Blowers, Wygant, Gaiman, Zier, Apperson, Height, Peach, top 10. Again, not all of it is super representative, with drivers obviously just using installation laps and just running pit entry and test laps here. But Everyone knows kind of where they're going to try to be and who they're going to try to compete with. Pacey Wygant, winner 6 days ago here at Fontana, looking to do so again and take another championship home for the owners for Coast to Coast Racing. A lot of competition in tow, 3 wide. Chad Swatsworth, part of the closest finish in HTL history, right here in Fontana. Season 2, when this race was not the finale, ended up ahead in the closest finish in HTL history. He has a lot of history with this track, almost 4 wides here. Goes all the way to the inside of Wygant, and they are 4 wide.
Oh, that's going to be a precursor.
You're going to see that a lot here tonight, because this track has so many lanes. This track is so raceable and so easy. It's a driver's track, but it's also a very entertaining track for viewers and for fans. It's a fantastic place to be. That's why it's the final race of the season, and we're going to see a lot of drivers duke it out here tonight. It's going to be absolutely magical to watch as we get everything ready here. It's time for the starting grid. And it's so important that the start of this race goes well. Pacey Wygant, Eli Sasek start in the front row. For Wygant, championship on the line. For Sasek, looking to play spoiler. He's in the best spot to do so early. But he's not alone in that. Zach Merritt, the defending series champion, for one more race. Will not be champion after tonight. Will instead just be a former series champion. He's alongside Josh Arnold there in the 55 in row number 2. Row 3 is Connor Morris and DJ Trout. DJ Trout for Premier Racing Club. See what they can do here this evening. Connor Morris filling in for Bobby Blowers and Orlando Outlaws E Motorsports. See what they can do on row 3 of the grid. Row 4 is Jair Rodriguez and Chad Swatsworth. You start seeing some of the Drivers' Championship competitors here. Swatsworth, the highest qualifying of the bunch. Caitlin Height and Bianca Constantinou in row 5. They round out the top 10. Constantinou in 10th, the biggest underdog of the contenders here tonight, starting in the top 10 ahead of Susie and Proudfoot. We'll see how they rise to the field. They're starting at the back of the field. Row 6, Bren Roberts and Zach Apperson. They're just outside the top 10 in 11th and 12th. In the inside of row 7 is Blake Henderson and Lilac Zier on the outside in 14th. That is row 7. Row 8 of this 15-row field. Callie Height and Alfred Denny make up the row there. That is 15th and 16th for Height and Denny. Are they future teammates next season? Time will tell. Row 9, William Britton and Hunter Peach. William Britton, where does he go? Does he stay as a one-car team, or does he join an existing team? Does he join one of the open spots for Season 5? We'll find out. Hunter Peach in the 1, where does he go? He's racing Champ Car part-time. Does he stay in HTL Cup Series competition, or does he pivot away from the stock car competition at the end of the season? Time will tell there for Peach. For NFG Motorsports, NFG is going to stay the same. Do they stay with Chevrolet, or do they move to Toyota? Lily Paultier-Sharp and Mark Parkhurst in row number 10. Paultier-Sharp, not a great run so far to kick off everything here. Looking to just finish the season strong. We'll have to do so from 19th on the grid. Try to make her way into the top 10. Same with Mark Parkhurst, team owner for Premier Racing Club. Racing right now for Deep Racing. Trying to finish out the season there for the 90 car. That was being driven by Angel Santiago. Santiago stepped back. Mark Parker stepped in. He's in row 10 there. Looking further down the order, Kevin Gidney Jr., the 8 for Lady Liberty Motorsports, and Byron Jones for NFG Motorsports in row 11. Gary Donaldson for Team 7 Motorsports, and Caleb Eichler in the 45 for Arrowhead Racing one more time in row number 12. Josh Susie and Bobby Blowers, row 13. Susie has to go from 25th on the grid. He's not the worst one off here. Blowers also starting from the back of the field, both of them messing up their qualifying runs. Brennan Proudfoot serving a penalty. Hunter Whitlock not qualifying. They're in row 14 by themselves here. Ryan Moutre. Is this a swan song? Is this a send-off for the 44? We'll find out. Josh Gaiman serving a penalty as well in the 96. He'll have to come from the very last position in this race if he wants to win in Fontana. It's all to play for here in Fontana. Wygant and Sasek lead the field to green. How special of a night it is championship night for the HTL Cup Series season. 23 races. 5 months of non-stop action. It all leads to this. 4 drivers, 1 crown. There will be a new champion. Who sits on the throne? The coronation is at the end of this race tonight. Welcome to a new moment in history. Green flag is in the air. The final race is underway. We're racing in California. Opening lap in the books, and you see how stacked, how wide the racing has been. Already seeing 4 wide here in Fontana, and we're going to see that for a little bit as the fresh tires not only heat up, but reach those optimum temperatures and stay there for a few laps. It's all about managing that right front, but it's easy to do in these cooler conditions. As you're seeing, Pacey Wygant, pole sitter, already shuffled not only outside the top 5, outside the top 10. Wygant's down to 12th. Battling with Constantinu, who's in 13th. A lot of drivers have moved forward. Schwarzworth up 3, Anderson up 6. Zero up 5.
Just
but
about
some of the contenders here further back, and you see some of the issue there. That is Henderson on the outside of Zier. Zier tags the wall for a moment, and it is intense. Throughout this field, there is not a moment to take a breath. You sneeze, and you miss it.
I mean, right now I'm watching as well. Hard to get a word in edgewise as well. Just every time you want to bring up something else happens on the point as well. But to kind of go back to the start there, I wonder if partially maybe Wygant, he went to the low side. Looked like he almost was checking up just a bit. It didn't seem natural to drop that far back. And obviously, on these restarts, you want to have a chance. You want to get pointed towards the right direction. If you're someone a little bit further back, like Sosi right now, or Sassy and Proudfoot, you have to go forward. But the risk is that with it being so chaotic, 4 wide, yes, on lap 2, you're not going to expect much danger. But as we get late race restart, you can see the 91 making a move there, an aggressive lunge to try to make a move happen. You're going to see drivers getting with no care in the world making lunges, and it just takes one driver clearing themselves in front of you or another one, and next thing you know, it takes out 10 cars and maybe the championship contender. So with stage points not really being a factor, it's an interesting strategy for a few drivers, maybe laying back here like a plate race, just to make sure, make small intervals out front and try to avoid the chaos that we're watching right now, because it's, again, one wrong twitch, and next thing you know, there could go 6 cars to the graveyard in question. But right now, Morris leading the way. As you can see right there, car getting a little loose off exit with Schwarzworth. Henderson getting a little loose on the Y side there. Pinch on the high side, though. Cars making moves. 24, though, working his way back towards the front. Showing that drift may have not been the indicative of what the car had. And right now making it 3 wide, almost 4 wide there. You can see it drifting. It's still Morse in the way, but I think Arnold's going to try to take and lead this lap. Still Morse, though. But Henderson, Arnold, Apperson, Sassing, it just keeps shifting on the tower board here. So it's almost hard to say who's in what. It's better just tell you who's in what position at the end of every lap.
Yeah, this is the racing that we saw at the beginning of last season, only everyone's learned a little bit more. We've raced here already this season with this current configuration of the car and how perfectly timed it could be. The new update to this car comes next week. So we're getting the season done right in the nick of time before they change all of that right now. Henderson and Apperson, teammates there for Team 7 Motorsports, trying to end this season on a high note. Henderson, 3 race wins in Season 2, winless in the Cup Series ever since. He leads the lap here in Fontana. Keep it on 34. There's Morris. There's Apperson. There is Sasek in the 9. There's Wygant in the 24. It's so hard to pick your favorite driver. You're 30 cars. You wedge them in together on a track like this, and they've somehow still found a way to turn themselves into a sardines can. of just cars and carbon fiber and fiberglass everywhere. It is incredible seeing this racing so far. And again, this is 125 laps. This is a long race. These drivers are not racing like it's lap 7 of 125. They're racing like it's lap 120 of 125, and you're going to see that all night long. 3 stages tonight in this race, so 2 resets to get the field put back together and get everyone ready to go. We're in stage 1 right now, but this is going to be a very long race, and it is all for keeps here. Henderson leads the way over Apperson, over Morris, Sasek in 4th, Wygant in 5th, Meredith, Swatsworth, Arnold, Jones. Height, thereabouts is your top 10. Wygant to the very bottom of the racetrack, the 24. Trying to get around the 4 of Apperson. The outside lane is the preferred lane. Wygant has found that wall. Trying to make something happen. He'll slot into 4th place. There was room between Morris in the 34 and Sasek in the 9. This is a very different vibe, though, from what we saw in the spring. It's a much more intense vibe than we saw last season.
Yeah.
This is a larger field than last season, too. 30 cars all on track here. This is a very intense field. There's 36 spots. Only 6 more cars could have possibly joined in here. That's how intense the season has been, top to bottom here. Wygant still trying to work that inside line here, out of 3 and 4. Still can't make things happen. Henderson using Apperson and using Morris to really sort of just keep Wygant at bay. And now you've got Sasek in the mix as well. Side draft's so important, and Wygant's super vulnerable to the side draft here. He's trying to side draft over Morris here in the corners, but that right side's more vulnerable. That's where all the handling really comes from, as Apperson goes to the race lead here ahead of Henderson. The Tombstone Motorsport teammates will swap positions here in this stage here on lap 10. It's only 10 laps. We've only run about 20 miles in this race.
You know, it hasn't felt like 10 laps. It's felt like more here on that point at the very least. I'm just watching close encounters here. I think Tombstone is trying to control the front here, but now Wygant, he's trying the line where you want to go in that inside.
He's got help from his team boss and Zach Meredith. Now he's got a little bit of help. He's got a little bit of assistance. You got the 11 of Caitlin Height, who's knocking out Meredith. No love lost there between those two. Obviously, remember how Fontana went last season. Blowers in that number 10 machine lurking as well. The 34, his car of Connor Morris, just moved into the middle lane as well. Height trying to force a 3rd lane to happen here. Swatsworth on the outside lane. So racing cars not together on this stanza. But Wygant trying to get to the front of the field, trying to drive and use the bottom lane. Teammates on the outside lane. Teammates not put together on the middle lane, on the inside lane there with Wygant and Morris. Apperson continues to lead laps here. So Tombstone trying to hold on to the race lead, but it is frantic at the front of the field. It is almost 16 cars in this lead group, and it has separated a little bit. You see that there is now a little bit of a separate group that's fallen back, that's sort of just waiting for the shoe to drop and things to get nasty in a hurry with how close and how tight everyone's racing up here in the front of the field. When do things sort of step over that very vibrant, thin line from being competitive to violent?
Honestly, I think that's the reason why, as I'm keeping an eye on the time of scoring here, I think that's why, because the stage points don't matter. It looks like a car coming in the pits. DJ Trout in the pit lane here, along with Hunter Whitlock. Hunter Whitlock was a little bit further back, though. Both cars in the pit stop for a bit unscheduled stops here. But to kind of go back to my point here, though, is with the 81 and 31, both in the championship playoffs here, they were like, I'm good, knowing that watching this, they have drifted way off, and knowing that stage points don't matter. Just stay on the lead lap, stay away from this, and if chaos happens, you could maybe reap the rewards here. So they're going to take a risk here, at least in stage 1, not try to challenge towards the front, thinking they can get it back later through strategy and racing on track. But up front there, big clear there by the 34, came right up in front of the Tombstone 25 of Blake Henderson there, and that's a bit of a risky situation. You can even see Ya here right there at the bottom, cutting the apron there to try to get as much time as he dares at the very least. So drivers changing lanes, picking lanes here, going at, and right now, I think, like you said, Carmen, we're on a fine line, but I feel like we're close to it.
You saw Morris get loose there. That was really big there. Morris had a really big moment and got loose in that middle stanza. Was in between Wygant and Apperson. Felt the air come off the car on both sides, and that car suddenly entered a vacuum, and that is the worst place to feel that car. And you're seeing a lot of these cars now drifting up the racetrack a little bit more. Those on the outside lane have had this advantage, And now the right front tire is beginning to wear. Stage 1 ends on lap 30. The cars that have been trying to send on the inside lane, trying to really slide drop it, as you would say, trying to get to the front of the field. Now they're getting the field with effects, so the cars in the outside lane have been able to really kind of just take care of the tires and let things roll. Wygen still trying to get to the front of the field, still can't get clear of Apperson. Down the back straightaway, Wygen keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, trying as much as he can, but he has no genuine support right now. There's Meredith. He's in the middle, 3 wide. He is looking at his mirror and saying, how do I get out of this situation? Wygen gets right to the white line, but not able to really make any inroads here. There goes 34 Morris trying to get back to the race lead. That 34 Toyota takes second from Wygen, and Wygen will have to settle for third, but he will move finally to the outside lane. 700 Peach in that one. He's moved forward. 100 Peach up 13 spots. Apperson up 11. That is some of your biggest gainers so far in this race. Byron Jones up 14. And then Josh Kamen up 13.
Yep, Bobby Blowers up 10 as well to add to that list. Some of the biggest movers, some of the biggest losers here in this top half. There you got Josh Arnold down 5. You got here Rodriguez down 6. Pacey Wyget down 4. Sasek down 4. And right there, Hunter Peach gets very close to the 34 machine there.
Hey,
Looked like trouble will actually
have
it. Yo, it's 3. 3 at Cali Height on the backstretch is stopped. That is going to be the reason for the caution here. We don't know exactly what happened to her. She just towed a pit lane, though, so I'm guessing it wasn't a pretty sight for what happened.
This is going to be Callie Height and Brent Roberts, we do believe, involved in this first caution of the night on lap 17. And this is what happens here. This is not going to be pleasant by any stretch of the imagination. And this already started.
This
is a hard impact all the way through. This is Roberts in the 5. Let's see if we can get a decent angle of this, because this is going to be an interesting shot here. This is out of turn 2. Keep it on the 3 and the 5.
They're in the second pack, by the way, for those curious what they're battling for here.
Yeah, that's Gaiman in the 96. That's Denny. That's William Britton just ahead of them.
So Roberts is there. Height's on the low side. Height did not try to clear there, so is it
Height just tried moving up the racetrack to follow the draft and just tagged Roberts. That's interesting.
And then it sent Roberts, obviously with a little bit of hook, sent both of them the opposite direction, and then going well over 100 and something miles an hour at the very least. Not much you can really do to get these cars to stop on a dime, and big lick there by Kelly Height. Got air. Reminds me of Steve Park at Pocono in 01. That thing is barrel rolling at the very least there. Eventually it comes to a rest, but you can understand why she towed. After a lick like that, that thing usually is not coming back in one piece. So we'll take another look here again. We'll try to find a perspective from someone's angle here.
Yeah, see if we can get it on board here. We're trying to look here. That's not going to be quite representative. So we're on board with Bryn Roberts here. So we're going to kind of see what happens here. Bryn Roberts has a really good run. Callie, we talked about the tires beginning to wear. They were getting past their prime. On board with Bryn Roberts.
Again, Roberts gets a good run here. Height maybe tries something coming up, can't get it done, and then...
Yeah, Height just comes up and tags him.
Yeah, just nothing you could do. Maybe trying to save it out, straighten it out, but with Height being on the low side, nothing you can really do. Love to see it in cockpit shot from Height's perspective as well, just to see the wild ride she had, if we can. But other than that, though, yeah, that explains that both cars towed, and presumably both cars going to be heading to the graveyard here tonight.
Not the way Callie Hat wanted to end her season. Running on board in car cam.
One and a half flips there. Can't flip it back over to make it a 2 complete rotation there. But yeah, both drivers not going to be happy. Hopefully both drivers are virtually okay and real life okay as well, because you never know with direct drive wheels and whatnot. But both will tow. Both our seasons will come to an end here with a whimper, not a shout. But we'll see what next season brings for both drivers. So anyway, back to live action here. While talking, every driver came into pit except for one, William Britton. He known for being the driver that tries alternate strategies. He elects to stay out here and take those old tires, which again, I don't know if that's the best choices in the world when we see tire wear being an important factor and seeing how racing can get with fresh tires. Now that being gone could be a bit of a problem here for Britton and could leave him being a cork that could explode out of a bottle at the very least. Other than that, though, some other things we'll round up on. Josh Gaiman just came in for more service here at the very least. Second time in the pit lane for him. Looks like it was a top-off situation for him at the very least. And DJ Trout, who took an unscheduled pit stop early in the stint, got his lap back. He is now on lead lap, giving us 27 cars on the lead lap. Hunter Whitlock first car, who is now, I believe, 1 down. Brent Roberts and Kayla Height still in the pit lane because of the damage they sustained under the first caution of the night. And looking through the field right now, it's Britton, Morse, the first row, Blowers, Height, second row. Important to note that Morse, Blowers, and Height all took fuel only. Henderson, Wygent next row, Apperson, Peach the following row, and Arnold, Meredith the fifth row out of the first 5, all taking 4 tires. So differing strategies here for the field. See how it all plays out with the stage looming the completion sooner rather than later.
Get ready to come back to the green flag here. Lights out on that Ford Mustang pace car. William Britton and Connor Morris on the front row. Gonna be very interesting here. 28 cars still rolling around on track. Pace car pulls in. William Britton leads us to green. Green flag back in the air. We're underway, and a really good start by William Britton. Trying to hold on to those older tires. He's got clean air, that's what matters, but now it's going to be a madhouse. Kayla Height goes straight to the bottom and straight to the front of those that did get tires. What can she do here to redeem the ghost of last season? Wow, so many cars went up to the outside lane.
I think a few cars went the wall there. Yeah, I saw Britton hit it. He even said, oh, expletive there. How just situational it was. And maybe it's a situation where maybe Britton led the troops off the cliff there. At the very least, a few other cars. Looks like the 34 also hit the wall as they're kind of going back to see who did what. I think Blake Henderson had a close run in.
Trouble!
Well, transmitting that Britton. Blake Henderson
in trouble, and this
Proudfoot.
is going to be a wild turn of events. Multiple cars involved.
Proudfoot was involved.
Proudfoot involved. Henderson involved. Gaiman involved. About a half dozen cars collected in this one. Caution number 2. Everyone caught off guard by the tire temperatures and the lack of grip as the lights turn on and the sun sets further and further beyond the West Coast.
Looking at some of the drivers involved.
Look at Eli Sasic.
Yeah.
Front of his car is gone.
Mm-hmm. Some of the noble names, Parker, Sharp, Zier were involved. We'll get a good look at that, exactly what happened there. But yeah, good cars there got affected. I think maybe even Sosi may have got effect in that as well. We'll see how much it happened.
There's a lot of cars in this. Pelletier Sharp's in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back and look at this real quick. This is going to be a very painful ordeal going into this event. This was not what they wanted to have to deal with.
So
as we deal with this real quick.
Yep, William Britton on that apron there. He's going to be the catalyst that starts. And again, we saw it in that first lap there. We saw kind of the tires not being affected. Those top 4 all stayed out, and then the rest were on the fresh tires. So
we're playing this in slow motion here because William Britton gets past by Caitlin Height. Height gets to the front pretty well and easy here. It is how Britton washes out here. Gets loose.
Yeah.
And you see he saves it once, but he's checked up. Saves it again. Still trying to save it. Still trying to save it. Still trying to save it. Spins it. Spins it. Spins it. Henderson in trouble. There's Proudfoot. Meredith. Sasic. Gaiman.
Piles in there.
A lot of cars involved in this one. Like Zier got a decent shot of it. Pelletier Sharp got beached. Wow.
This is interesting, to say the least, at the very least.
That is not how you want to spend your time here.
Nope.
Let's see if we can go back a little bit more here. See so many cars involved, almost a dozen cars in this. Actually, it's a wider incident here.
Multiple things happening throughout the field.
Bramborough Sharp.
And she'll have a good view of this as we watch. It's going to be just chaos happening in front of it. At this point, it's just going to scramble with so many cars and becoming a track block. Cars going high, low, low, high. You see, yeah, here gets a little bump there. At that point, you're just trying to split and hope you can split the middle. And she does it relatively okay. For the most part, what it looked like it could have been, she got through relatively okay for the most part. Maybe a little damage on the corner panels, but easily could have been an engine killer if she ended up piling into Proudfoot there.
Yeah, that was all bad there. Proudfoot, not a great night for him. Let's see if we can grab a look from the 81 of Josh Susi.
He may have had a piece of this as well. And
yeah, he's the one that pushed Henderson around. Not a great run for him. He got a little piece of that, but it looks like he stayed out of pit lane here.
Yeah.
Now, it looks like a Henderson. He's not going to have a fun time of this. Running on board. He gets a little loose there. There's Swatsworth to his inside. Ooh, that's close.
Oh,
ooh,
man,
and then that's where it gets really bad there.
And then another tap there. Yeah, Swatsworth thanking his lucky stars there. Took one of the lives, but not all of them, and he will power on here. But yeah, you can see Henderson. Better days for that 25, better seasons, and looks like it may not be another victory lane appearance for the 25, but at least chances for him down the road. So back to live action here as well on lap 23 at the moment. Interesting how this shakes out here. Only cars that really came in were the ones that got major damage there. Britton, Gaiman, Henderson, Proudfoot, Zier. As the pace was going to pull off here, though, we're going to get ready for a restart here. Height on control. Green flag as they're in the restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go for the next restart of this race.
A lot of latency there. I think that's the 10 of Blowers with a lot of latency at the moment. A ton of latency there for Blowers. Everyone had to try to figure out where he was going. There's 34 of Morris, the 4 of Apperson. There's Wygen, Arnold, Susi, Peach, Swatsworth. This is coming to the end of the stage.
Morris just clipped the wall there just a bit. That's going to slow Apperson up on that high line there. That's going to make it uncontention for Height and Blowers here. Rest will fighting out for the rest here. But see, sales will pale, and you can just see how much they're racing there. Stage points don't matter, boys and girls. This is just for fun here. As they come off the last car clips wall there, a little scrap. It's going to be a Height crossing the line first, Blowers, and then the rest will file suit here. They race hard here for them. Now the final lap of the stage.
Final of the stage is on lap 30.
Oh,
so
my mistake.
Still a few laps to go for racing its final lap of the stage. But
I thought they were racing for the last stage, or how much they were racing hard there. But anyway, drivers file in here again, getting very close to that wall, kissing it with danger here. Looks like that high line, though, making a move. You can see out here in the back trying to make a move. Arnold venturing on the low side here. More importantly, up front, 4-car breakaway at the moment with Height, Blowers, Wygen,
keep an eye right now on Susi.
Susi and Wygen. Fresh tires. Both of them have fresh rubber in comparison to the cars around them.
Swatsworth there in the top 10 as well. 6th place right now for him ahead of Josh Arnold. Both them trying to work around some of this traffic here. Apperson right there in front of both Swatsworth and Arnold. So some championship contenders in trouble. Others beginning to feast here in California. Blowers on the very far outside lane, still having a lot of latency for him. Everyone trying to avoid him at the moment as things run. Wygen, a very bold move just to cut in front of Blowers with that latency. But it's worked out so far. Wygen trying to get to the front of the field. It's Height, then Wygen, Blowers, Susi, and Swatsworth the top 5.
Cars making evasive action around Morse there in the back.
Yeah,
another
Morris.
wall tap for him. Yeah, Morris to the wall tap. That's going to be cars taking actions. Blowers is getting radio communicated here that he is having some latency issues, so he may be told to kind of get out of the way here if it continues. So we'll have to see if it settles out here. But right now, with championship drivers around him and drivers fighting for race wins here, he can't get it settled, be told to head to the back here. But right up front, still Wygen with the fresh tires leads the way. Height second, Susi now third, Blowers fourth. You can see some checkup, well, not on our perspective, but you can see right there on the lines, checking up happening just a bit here. Swatsworth almost gets put in the wall there, and you can see the effect there, right there, as he tried to come up ahead of Jones, I believe, and he could just see drivers shuffling out
on the
here.
wall, Peach. I was like a couple cars in the wall as well.
Yeah.
Not just Peach. Looks like that may have been Byron Jones in the wall as well. He dropped spots.
You You see it flirting with that wall is a bit of a danger. We saw it with Morse in that point where he got a little bit too close and ended up falling back and may have a little bit of damage. He has to nurse to the line, to the end of the stage here. So it's a fight with danger, a fight with grace to get that high line to make it work here. As they come up here again, drivers keep flirting close with that, and you can see the wash happening here. But right now, you can see Yahir going to slide up to the high line just ahead of Bobby Blowers in the 10, and you can see a move there by Constantinu. Going to go low here to try to make a run, and now you can see the tires really playing a factor here. The drivers that stayed out, Height falling backwards, and a few others, they're going to maybe not even stay in the top 10 for this stage end. So we're going to hit the final lap of the stage now, calling it correctly now. Lap 30 coming to the final lap of the stage next time by. Can the drivers that took the old tires hang on? Can the new drivers maybe make a few extra spots here with those fresh new tires?
Wygen pretty well and clear at the front of the field. It's all about who's in second place. Oh. Whoa, that was almost trouble. Peltier Sharp almost got helped around. Everyone trying to find their way through. Hunter Peach trying to move to the inside lane. This is all for second place.
Yep.
Championship contender or not, you are being hassled coming to the start-finish line at the end of the stage. Peltier Sharp's going to try to hold on for second place, but Pacey Wygen will win stage 1. That is easy to determine. Caution comes out, and the stage ends without further issue.
Yeah, stage points don't matter, but we'll run over the top 10 anyway. Wygen, Sharp, Sosi, Swatsworth, Rodriguez, Peach, or Rodriguez, Swatsworth, Peach, Height, Constantinu, Blowers, Moutre. Remember, Moutre was half a lap back for the first caution came back, so him getting back inside the top 10 is impressive to see. But God, they were racing very hard there. Again, with stage points not mattering in that, and you saw a lot of close calls there. Peach tapped in the wall. Sosi got a few bang-bang incidents. Swatsworth, Sharp. It was just interesting to see at the very least. But more importantly, currently inside the top 10 at the moment, you got 3 out of the 4 in the owners and 3 out of the 4 in the drivers, all sitting inside the top 10. If the race would end right now, your owner's champion would be Wygen, and your driver's champion would be Sosi. But stages don't end the end of lap stage number 1, though. They end at the scheduled distance of 125, so still a long way to go. Now the question is, obviously, the cars that took fuel only on lap 17, they're coming in, and I assume the rest of the field will be joining them. Question is, will anyone try to roll the dice similar to what we saw Caitlin, Height, and a few others do, and maybe take fuel only or 2 tires?
That's the magical question here tonight. Wygen, Sharp, Susi, Rodriguez, Swatsworth, Peach, Height, Constantinu, Blowers, Moutre, your top 10. Only championship driver not in this group is Proudfoot. He was involved in that second caution of the night. He is down in 25th at the moment. And he's needing a little bit of luck now to make things happen. Stage 2 ends on lap 70. So we're going to have a decent amount of racing here in this second stage. Could see a pit stop in this second stage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked with stage being at the end of 70, like you were saying, Carmen. There is a good chance with tires kind of wearing out a bit. Definitely some drivers will want that fresh tires to make sure they get it to the end here. Cars will all pull in here. Again, will anyone roll the dice? Try a different strategy here. Looks like one car electing to stay out. Hunter Whitlock, but Hunter Whitlock obviously getting the lap back here will pit in the next by. But the rest risk here looks like our one for the most part taking 4 tires, except for a few. Josh Arnold taking a fuel-only stop. Evan Gibney as well will join that crew, but on the race off with the tires for 4, gonna be Pacey Wygen, Josh Sosi next to Parkhurst coming out next with a fuel-only stop, and then Yair Rodriguez, Sharp, Peach, Height, Swatsworth, your top 10, rest of those drivers on 4 tires as well. So Arnold, Gibney, and Parkhurst all rolling the dice here, similar to what we saw the last caution with Britton, Height, and a few others, and taking fuel only instead of taking tires here and getting that track position.
Hunter Peach will end up down in 8th place. Center of your screen right there. Josh Arnold ends up as the race leader after this pit stop. Then it's Sharp, then Wygen, then Susi, Rodriguez, Parkhurst. I said Sharp, so Gibby in 2nd place. Sorry, Sharp's in 6th, or 7th, I should say, behind Parkhurst. Height's in 9th behind Peach, then Swatsworth in the top 10. Constantinu 11th, Blowers 12th, Moutre 13th, Apperson 14th, Byron Jones, Alfred Denny, Caleb Eichler, Gary Donaldson, Connor Morris, and DJ Trout, your top 20. Everyone else spending a little bit more time in pit lane. As we see the lights come out on the pace, or lights go out on the pace car. This means we are 1 to go from the restart here to begin stage 2.
You see how this all plays again. We saw last time drivers that took the no tire strategy were able to hold on for a couple laps, but then eventually it battled out and it ended up playing into the factor of the drivers with the fresh tires. So there's this risk. We know Arnold's got some speed. Gibney can have some speed too as well, but it's going to be interesting how this plays as well. Quick race update as well. We have 24 cars on the lead lap. Zier and Proudfoot, blanked on the name for a second there, just making sure they are on the lead lap as well. Looks like Zier is on the lead lap, so 25 cars on the lead lap. Proudfoot is currently 1 down, looking to try to get the lucky dog and get back in the lead lap. Get another quick caution here, but it's going to be on Arnold's control here as they come through 3 and 4. So Arnold, Gibney, Wygant, Sosi, Rodriguez, Parker, Sharp, Peach, Height, Swatsworth, Constantinu, Blowers, your top 12. As Paceco's going to pull off, and it's going to be on Arnold's control.
Pace car takes the hard left onto pit lane. Arnold and Gibney lead the field to green.
Ooh.
Green flag back out, and away we go.
You can see right there on that shot, Gibney did not get going on those old tires. That's going to allow Wygant to jump right up to second, and then 3 wide for third, as it's just kind of a get around quickly that 8 car.
Two cars got by very quickly. It's Arnold and Wygant. Susi, Rodriguez, both getting around Gibney as well. Blowers
still having
issues, as well as Parkers, who just had a big latency spike there. So Blowers not the only one.
And for those championship drivers, you're sitting right there. Before this race started, you were checking your internet. You were making sure all your ports, you were making sure you're hardwired to the extreme. You want to make sure that your internet holds out for the rest of this race.
Almost contact between Gibney, Rodriguez, and Parkhurst. That was a very close through situation that was avoided for now, but it's far from over. Susi at the third, pretty well clear in third. Then it's a pretty well a fight. It's an arms race, 4th on down. Height to the bottom of Peach.
Constantinu with a clear over there on the 4 of Apperson. Drivers picking lanes here. Again, top 2 have really pulled away from the rest of this pack we're currently watching. This is third, basically third all the way to about 15th, 16th.
Whoa!
Top 2. Oh, car
that was contact. That was Sharp and Gibney out of turn 2. That almost ended in an absolute disaster.
Almost ended in tears and pain. But they keep it clean and they keep it green.
Oof, side draft there between Parkhurst and Height. That can be sketchy with the latency you're seeing Parkhurst have at the moment.
Yeah.
Apperson trying to help Height get around the 90.
Oh, still kind of close there as they aggressively side draft. Constantinu going to jump to the low side here. Going to abandon the high side, try to make a move around Peach.
Constantinu trying to move to the front of the field again, listed as the biggest underdog of the Championship 4. Right now sitting in the top 10, but still only third of the championship drivers. That's what I mentioned at the beginning of the show. In order to get the championship, the objective is as simple as it can be. Win. And that is hard to do at a track like this, where there's so many cars there. Trouble, Jones and Gibney, and there's going to be more trouble. Trout's got a piece of it. Meredith's got some of it. That is Henderson in trouble again. That was Jones and Gibney where it all began. And we're under caution for the 4th time tonight. And that could have been disastrous. Caution out for the 4th time.
Mm-hmm.
For an incident that seemed destined to happen.
Yeah. Playing with house money, you can see right there the effect.
So you see everything here. Gibney and Jones. Now let's see if we can get a good look from high above. There, can't get much better than that.
Yep.
Let's look from high above here. We'll play it in real time. And then we'll slow it down here. Obviously, content is the 8 and the 19. Almost center of your screen. Center top of your screen. Play this in slow motion. So you can get a really good idea. The Gibney moves down half a lane. Really just opens up that very upper top lane, but doesn't keep it open. Jones was going to fill that gap. And they just hook together. Peach gets clear. Swats was on the bottom. He's good to go. Same with Constantinu. Good to go. Moochray gets clear. Height going to shoot to the bottom. This is before everything really gets bad. Parkhurst gets very lucky. Gibney, nowhere for him to go. Slams right into Gibney. Eichler gets close. Meredith gets tagged by Trout, who then, I guess, tags Denny for good luck there. There's the 96 of Gaiman. It looks like the 22 of Donaldson gets through. Net code there, latency for Henderson gets him involved. 35 of Whitlock comes to a slow crawl there. Same with that's the 16 of Britain. The 34 of Morris gets through clean. Again, this was a rolling disaster waiting to happen, and it happened at the worst possible time. From the drone cam on the front straightaway. Right at the start-finish line, everyone gets through until they don't. Hard hit there for Byron Jones and for Blake Henderson there. See Sasek comes to a slow there. Slows down, tries to get through there. See if we can right on board with Blake Henderson once again. He's probably tired of seeing this one. He gets out of the gas, but nowhere to go because the window's closing. He doesn't know if the car's going to keep moving up from the grass or not.
He wondered if the brake will be held or not, and yeah, just had a hope, and it did not play out well. So back to live action, you can see the remnants on pit lane as some drivers have made that their residency while others have just come in again to top up for more damage to fix. There's Gibney, there's Jones, there's Blake Henderson, all sitting in pit lane. A few drivers leaving right now, but long damage clocks for a couple of them, and it still continues on. No fast spares.
Interestingly enough, sorry to cut you off, 2 of the championship contenders just came down pit lane together, Susie and Swatsworth.
I heard Susie talking on the radio about possibly he got a 4X from a pit road incident, but not really a penalty worth serving here. So definitely off sequence here at the very least. Interesting.
Josh Arnold pit lane, so is Gary Donaldson.
Oh,
very interesting there.
I just went back and looked. Susie got into contact in the pit lane with a 34. Not a lot of damage, but definitely a little scratch on that post office machine here. So that makes me why he may have came in here to fix it up and make sure it's 100% good to go here while under caution. So there the 81 goes away with a long clock there, 26 seconds. So not a lot of damage, but wanted to make sure that thing was fixed and make sure that there's no ailing issues coming back. So back to live action here. Lights out on the pace car. We're going to go green this time by. Peach leads the way with Height in second. Then it's Moutre, Blowers, Wygant, Constantinu, Eichler, Rodriguez, Apperson, Parkhurst. And at the moment right now, even though Constantinu is the underdog, she's winning the championship as we speak. But obviously still not even halfway. This can easily change out very quickly. As field gets bunched up here again, some cars looking more wounded than others. More importantly, Proudfoot was able to get back on the lead lap under this caution. So all 4 championship drivers back on the lead lap, or on the lead lap, I should say. Some never went off the said lead lap, as we are going to get ready here to go. Pace car going to take the lonesome road down pit lane. It's going to be on Peach's control.
23 cars on the lead lap. From Peach to Proudfoot, green flag back in the air, and away we go.
Line side did not get going right there. You see a few drivers jumping up quickly to take advantage of that. the hole open, and you can already see maybe some of the effects, some of these cars with damage and not as much damage playing a factor here already, as some struggling to get up the gears.
Peach goes up the racetrack. Height goes down the inside lane.
Oh, car way off. Parker's takes a long trip there. Saw him spin off there. Doesn't hit anything. But he is, yeah, way off there. Just caught me off guard. I saw him spinning like he was going full throttle into the wall. Luckily, does not hit anything. But yeah, very odd situation indeed, as he will now lose a lot of time to the front pack. But up front here, Height gets in the advantage ahead of Peach. She will lead this lap. Hunter Peach not going to go away here, as they will battle for first, and see the battle for third between Moutre and Blowers. Basically, first, third, and sixth, all in 2x2 battles here.
Yeah, so far in this race, we're on lap 40. 43 laps completed. 82 laps to go. 4 cautions, including the stage caution as well. 11 lead changes already in this event so far. You're looking at possibly another one here between Peach and Height into turns 3 and 4. Keep an eye on Moutre. Is this his swan song race in that 44 for Tombstone Motorsports? Time will tell. Coming across the line to complete lap 44. 81 laps to go. 12th lead change of the night.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about in the pre-race, where some of these drivers, again, this could be job security. This could be a chance to earn yourself a top ride. Look at Pacey Wygen for an example here. His team is going away, but easily he can win this race, do a good spot. Hey, win an owner's championship. Could easily put himself in a spot saying, hey, I'm a hot commodity. Give me a seat somewhere good. Same thing with Mouche right now. If he can end up winning this race, maybe he keeps a seat at Tombstone. Maybe he finds a better team. So again, security is all that matters. And sometimes getting a win at the right time can ensure yourself another seat at the table for next season. But right now, Hunter Peach leading the way here again. We'll go low side. Big 3-wide battle here for second, as it's Moutre, Wygen, Height. Right now, Wygen has a slight lead here heading into the corner, but Moutre has the preferred line on that high groove. Looks like Rodriguez in the 91 wants to join the fray as well. We'll go a little further back here as we see a few cars flirting with the wall. That was, I think, Sharp there. They got a little bit argy-bargy with the wall.
The fastest lap.
She's flying right now at the moment, picking lanes and picking where she needs to go here. Gonna get stuck to behind Height here. It's gonna affect her at least a little bit, per se, and maybe not make this another blistering purple lap.
Peach, winner last season in this event, the final race of the season. This is where he got his first win. Can he do it again? That is the very intriguing question. Moutre battling for second. There's Rodriguez in the 91. Wygen in the 24. They're going to close up on the outside lane there. A little bit of contact. Height goes to the outside lane. Sharp follows. And both Rodriguez and Wygen, they go down swinging. Sharp and Height following each other through. Height goes to the bottom. Sharp followed through. Drifts up a little bit wider, trying to fill that middle lane. Height covers it off. Rodriguez in 91, darting left and right, trying to find a way back through to get towards the top 3. They know Peach is walking away at the moment as things stand. Height trying to chase him down. She's got him down within 4/10. Can she reel him all the way back in? Easier said than done. Ahead of Moutre now. Moutre in 3rd. Rodriguez back to the top 4. Sharp stays in the 5th position. Wygen in 6th. The Pulse that are in the top 6. Then there's Constantinu, the leading championship driver at the moment by a singular position. There's Swatsworth in the 18, just behind. Then it's Eichler, teammates there in Arrowhead Racing. Arrowhead littering the top 10 at the moment. Does that help Swatsworth when it matters most later on in this race? Obviously, time's going to tell. We're still a far way away from that, still in stage 2 in this event. But it's nice to have the company for now. Susie just behind Eichler as well. That is for 10th position. That's where Susie's at right now, ahead of Blowers, Gaiman, and Apperson.
And a friend in need is a friend indeed in certain situations, and we'll see if that plays out. I also want to make sure Wygen. Was just about to say, Wygen making a move there, trying to get on the inside here, drawing the lane he feels comfortable with. He loves that low line, feels like it's an attacking lane. He'll make it happen. One more thing I want to point out there, you can see right there in 10th position, that's Sosi, who came in under last stop, went to the base of the tail end of the field there with that late pit stop. He's already gotten that post office 81 back into the top 10 here. So he is flying right there.
Both him and Swatsworth did.
Yeah, so both cars geared up here, not allowing incidents to play up here, so they definitely know they can get back to the front when time matters here. Right now, they're holding station in 8th and 10th, but at the very least, right now, Constantino is still highest of the playoff drivers. And
For
still
a moment, you see just further back to the 61 and the 18, side by side through 3 and 4. Swatsworth looking for a way around. Again, points, as we mentioned in the stages, don't matter. They don't exist in this race. It is about the furthest ahead driver. I say furthest ahead because it's not a guarantee they're going to win this race. Obviously, a lot of cars in this mix. There's Sharp, Moutre, Wygen, a little bit of contact between all three of them. Constantino on the outside lane. Swatsworth goes inside lane. 3 wide, 2 chase contenders. Sharp from the outside lane. That's a very tight place to be. Entering turn 3. Outside lane still seems to be preferred lane for most drivers at the moment, but if you're on the inside lane, you gotta make it stick. Susie also joining Swatsworth with the inside lane though, the 81 and the 18 working together at the moment. Bianca goes up back to the very top lane, so they leave the middle void. Susie goes to try to fill it a little bit here as we look at Sharp trying to make her way forward. For those that are joining us in this race, we've not introduced ourselves in a little bit. For those just jumping in, I'm Carmen Sienna. Alongside is Kevin Young as Swatsworth got very, very close to a race ender. Drops down to the 10th position. Contact that we were afraid was going to happen to somebody happens to Swatsworth. He saves it again, just like Parker's did at the beginning of the last restart. But that was a heart and throat moment for the 18 crew.
Even he was shocked at 3 wide. Just around the radio comms, he didn't know they were 3 wide. So again, at the very least, very happy at the very least that wasn't a race ender. He'll take that over anything else any day of the week. He'll take the track loss than a race ender at the very least. But to finish the point, though, it is Carmen Sienna's lead comm, and myself, Kevin Young, here, joining her in the booth just to finish the injunctions right there and not think I am Shad Swatsworth doing double duty at this time. But anyway, though, they're getting very racy if in this middle pack. You can see right there, Wygen in a bit of a 30-line situation here, and neither driver truly giving away here, as height still leads the way for Arrowhead Racing. And then for second, Rodriguez and Moutre, second and third with Peach, now down the 4th, and Constantino in the top 5.
Been a very fun race. Now that we're seeing some racing happen here, a little under almost 16 laps until the end of stage 2. Stage 2 ends on lap 70 here. You got height leading, Rodriguez, Moutre once again in the thick of it. Constantino in 4th, Susie 5th, Peach 6th, Sharp, Wygen, Eichler, Swatsworth top 10. The Apperson, Gaiman, Denny, Trout, Arnold, Blowers, and you see once again Wygen getting very physical there with Peach. There's Eichler just at the end of the top 10 as well. Swatsworth now once again firmly in this group, and he's got time to keep charging his way forward, but he's got to also protect those tires and make sure he doesn't drop out of the top 10 either. You want to give yourself the best position possible to start stage 3 when the championship rounds begin.
Yeah. That's the championship money rounds. That's round 12 to 15 in a heavyweight fight. That's the reset. That's the last reset you're going to get is 70. So you need to make sure you're as close as you can towards the front. And right there, actually right there, in my perspective, the 81 just gave the 61 a little tap there on the rear. 81 saying, I am coming through. And you're going to see right there, 3 wide just in the back between the 2 championship rivals here. Right in those championship rounds quite yet as they fight here hard for 4th. Top 3 looks like they kind of settled it down here at the very least.
Beginning to really see the tension ramp up here. We got through stage 1, which was already intense. Now, especially now that the championship drivers are together again, now the amount of room being given is tightened significantly. No quarters given, no spare room. You've got exactly 1 spot to make it work here. Sharp gets really tight there, N3 and 4. Washes out pretty wide. Falls behind Wygen, and now about to fall victim to Peach as well. Height continues to lead the way. Rodriguez letting it happen, acting as a rear gunner at the moment. Moutre under threat from Susie. Susie trying to charge his way forward. Then there's Constantino. Peltier Sharp in the 13, lingering back a little bit furthermore as Wygen also makes his way through. Wygen and Peach side by side for that 6th spot, and Peach has the advantage.
Yeah, right now, again, not real pressure for the top 2 to challenge here at the moment. Just kind of play and ride around here, but now Sosi gonna upset the status quo here, and that's kind of a statement for the other rivals here. Constantinu, Wygen in the owner situation, and Swatsworth knowing that, hey, we can't allow that 81 to get ahead and get too far up the road here. We need to follow suit and make so that we have a chance here to work out. But again, one positive is we do get to the money stops, and Height and Rodriguez are still ahead. That could maybe help out. Again, teammates in a situation can definitely play a strong factor if you're in the right spot, especially for Shad Swatsworth in that allegiance at the very least. But right now, the 81 looking to try to get a run here. Maybe, we know he's not willing to sit behind here. He's going to try to make a move on that 91. It's going to go low here. 91 to 81 still batting third. You can see in the back there as well, battling still Rage One. Constantinu firmly in fourth. Right there, Mutre going to keep fifth. Peach just trying to tip away here, maybe get a run on Mutre for the top five.
Constantine moving up to fourth there. You saw that. Wygen trying to make some moves as well. There's Swatsworth in the 18, trying to get around the 1 as well. A little bit of a separation there. Sharp's falling back a little bit, as has Eichler. Iverson's made his way into the top 10. Everything in the works here tonight.
About keeping an eye on our other championship driver here, Braden Proudfoot, right now in 21st position right now. Going to need that reset to kind of get back up here. Car looks relatively okay on times at the moment per se. However, definitely going to need to get that track position back. That thing is definitely wounded, so we'll see how he hands up here. But right now, worth noting, we got a pit stop here. Caitlin Height coming on in. So she is coming in confirmed, hand out the virtual window here. She will not make it to the end of the stage on lap 70. She will have to pit, and that presumably means the rest of the field will have to come in as well. There you can see 9 HTL Cup wins, the most. Currently first, but that's not going to last for long here as she comes in, and she's going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. No one else will follow the car in question except the 96 of Josh Gaiman, who it was in the second pack. So both cars in there, both Arrowhead, I believe, and that's going to hand the lead over to the 91 Yahir Rodriguez. But with her pitting that time by, going for the undercut, question is, when we'll see the rest of this pack elect to pit here, and can anyone here stretch it? Even though it doesn't matter per se for stage points, again, track position can be key, but with Trout, Sasek in this time by, Connor Morse in as well, yeah, this is definitely going to be a crowded pit lane of his next couple laps. Main pack stays out, though, for the most part here. Obviously, second pack going to have some drivers coming on in, like I said, with Trout, for instance. But Sosi looking to make a move towards the front here. Going to take the inside line here. Watts taking for the front before pit stops occur here. Still side by side. Outside line here, the prevailing line here. 81 going to aggressively side draft, try to get the run down the backstretch. And it looks like he'll have a good run here. There in third is Wygen. Wygen ready in the wings to maybe pick a lane to see who is faster here. 81 going to have to be aggressive on the lunge down here. And side draft up, not going to get as much of a good run here per se. 91 going to come low and put a little pinch on the 81. And there's Constantinu in third, going to just jump right ahead of Wygen. So 2 and 3 right now are the top 2 in the championship right now. Wygen, third in the owners at the moment. Well, it's actually second, I should say. Trying to make a case here to get around the 81 as well. So 2 main rivals fighting that 81.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend in some situations. That's not the case right now. It is everyone for themselves. Susi once again going after Rodriguez. Down the back straightaway. Constantini follows. The 81, the 61 on the inside lane, as well as the 24 and the 18. No one biting on the pit stops yet.
Very odd. Caitlin Height obviously looking to get the undercut work here, but she's still on the lead lap. So even if things don't pan out, she would still not have to worry about the lucky dog in this situation like a few other cars. Right there, you can just see how racy it is right now.
Oh,
yeah, Rodriguez not put away. Constantinu trying to make it 3 wide here. She sends a little blood in the water here.
Washed out big time.
Yeah.
Washed out huge in that 3-wide situation. And I talked about that earlier. When you're in that 3-wide situation and it tightens up like that, the air comes off of both sides of the car. It almost turns you into a bullet. You take all that stability out of it, and the only thing you can do is go straight. You watch the car just suddenly just stop having that grip to turn. It stops having that aero grip. You saw that with Susi. He just washed out. He had to really back out of it there. Fortunately, he was able to get to the outside lane and hold on and be able to regenerate the momentum without Constantinu getting through. But now Rodriguez is able to play every lane. There's 5 lanes to play through. He's got to make that car extremely wide, and he's able to do so because they're still side drafting each other now on the back straightaway. Contenders for the championship on both counts, not making life easy. Coming to the end of the stage, coming to 5 to go in this stage. Susie, keep an eye on the 18 of Swats with the outside lane. He's making a surge to the front. There's Wygen, the 24, winner of the Truck Series Championship, Truck Series champion in 3rd. Do not ignore how good Wygen has been. If you've not seen him in Tuesday nights or Sunday nights, pay attention to him tonight. He is outstanding. And right now, he is hanging in there with some of the best in HTL at the moment.
Oh, 91 in this time. 91 this time. You can see him go low there to singlify it. But the finish point on Wygen is someone that covered 2/3 of that Truck Series. I know for a fact my co-commentator in that series definitely can also agree to that point, that 0-0 in that series. And 24 here is very fast. 91 coming in alone, though. No one else biting as well. I wonder he really botched up that entry, though. He'll get it low down, but definitely a poor entry for that 91. So now the question is, though, are they trying to make it to the end here? Top 4 are all championship drivers, 3 in the drivers and 3 in the owners. Only odd one out is 61 Constantinu in the owner situation. She's not in that. 24 Wygen, not in the drivers, but fighting hard right there. It wouldn't matter. Sosi would be leading both. And you can see right there, Swatsworth going to try to make a move on Wygen and try to go the left side. He will get clear. So now Swatsworth up the 3rd, Wygen the 4th, Mutre in. He's in 6th position. He will come in this time by. He'll be joined by another car coming down pit lane, taking the lonesome road. Sharp, Pelletier Sharp in a second time, though. Looks like there's a second time in, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a speedy photo, I do believe. It was Mutre and Iverson you saw there tandeming together there on pit lane. Here comes Constantinu to the front of the field, and she's going to get it for the first time tonight. The 61's out front. Can she actually lead the lap? Susie's going to say absolutely not. But fair play. It is all to play for here. There's Swatsworth in 3rd. Championship contenders 1, 2, and 3.
Again, if this is what we expect in the championship, the money stop here. Sosi, no sign out the window, no hand. That could have been a mistake there. At the very least, checked up the 18 just a bit.
That could have been really nasty there for Susie, because Swatsworth had every ability to just run him over and didn't.
Yeah. Throws the respect there. Going to check up the field a bit.
And this isn't the end of the world. Constantinu's not scoring points by winning this stage. It's all about just posturing yourself for position in this stage. Absent and Sharp, but they come out of pit lane. They're being passed by the leaders now. They'll go a lap down. Can Constantinu, Peach, and Swatsworth make it on fuel for the next almost 2 miles?
It's interesting because if they can, that's great. But look at Sosi, for example, here. If he doesn't go a lap down here, which it looks like he may actually go a lap down here, it's going to be close as leaders cross the line here.
He is going a lap down for sure. He's just now leaving pit lane.
Yeah.
There comes the leaders. There goes the leaders. He'll be the not even the first car a lap down because there's Apperson.
Yeah, I was going to say the wave round's not going to be his charge. I was going to say it could have maybe been a good strategy choice at the very least if he could have got out before like Caitlin Height did, but could not catch that same break as he wanted to make sure he tried to avoid a pit stop. Couldn't work out here. But coming off here, Hunter Peach going to try to steal the stage. Constantinu not going to put up as much of a fight here, knowing that, hey, that's not a championship rival. Don't need to junk the car over that. Peach will clear up. And as they come off the last corner, they will have the fuel to make it. Constantinu going to make it a race to the finish line. And she's going to try to go low here. Across the line, it's going to be Peach. Peach by a fender over Constantinu. Swatsworth, Wygen, Arnold, Blowers, Donaldson, Britton, Height, Zier, top 10. And we'll see here how they shake it up, and it looks like Constantinu actually may have got it instead. William Britton ran out of fuel, though. He's an
Constantinu got the caution, I do believe, but Peach had the line.
Yeah.
So, not that it matters. There's no points on line in the stage.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter for much, but it just matters on entry and exit for pit lane at the very least. Britton just ran out of fuel, by the way, so it is going to be a mad scramble for these drivers. They didn't hit their numbers to get those cars in as quick as they can, as Britton had to take emergency service. Field gets bunched up here. Yeah, everyone going to be coming in. Constantinu staying out. Hunter Peach cannot make it around, so he will enter a closed.
And that's why Peach didn't protest that as much as he could have, because he knew he couldn't make it around again.
No other major drivers in that top 10 electing to pit. Obviously, Caitlin Height actually came in already, so she wouldn't be factoring into this. But drivers stayed out that make this strategy work. Gary Donaldson, Bobby Blowers, Arnold, Wygant, Swatsworth, Constantinu. More importantly, DJ Trout should be the lucky dog if my math is correct here, as he is the first one down. Lilac Zier also could not make it around one extra lap. She'll have to make in. Swatsworth, I think it's going to be close between Swatsworth and Constantinu. I think Constantinu may have ran out of gas. She looks kind of slow.
Uh-oh. This could be bad.
Yeah, she's out. She is out. So all that track that she just gained is going to be lost. She probably can limp it. It looks like it.
Look, let's just get some fuel back in.
Yeah. So she's not going to get the OL. She'll be lucky here. She's going to try to speed up, get her spot back, and pull back in. But could have been easily a penalty there for not maintaining pace speed. But she'll slot back in here and avoid the wrath of the steward. And now will come in. Obviously, Trout will get the lucky dog. Rest of the field will presumably take the wave route here as no one else will be staying out. But there you can see Apperson, Wygant, Arnold all in. So we'll see how this all plays, see how this all shakes up. More importantly, though, it's kind of interesting for the cars that came in late. For instance, like Sosi, for instance, that came in 2 laps ago. He'll take the wave around. He'll be on the tail end, and he's going to have a slight difference in strategy, just a bit, in comparison to the cars that are pitting down his main championship rivals. All right, this is the stop. You don't want to make a mistake. Obviously, it is a caution stop. If presumably we see another green flag run, we'll see a green flag pit stop in between here and the finish. But this is the stop. You don't want to make a mistake on this one and the next one, because you do not want to lose track position when it matters the most.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting.
This is interesting indeed, because Zier came in under presumably a closed pit stall, but it looked like, because she came in later because she was farther back, they did not dock her for that like they did Hunter Peach. So Zier at the moment leads the field as she pitted on lap 71. Then it's Swatsworth and Constantinu, Wygant, Arnold, Height, Mutre, Trout, Peach, Blowers, your top 10. Gary Donaldson with a long pit stop window along with Blowers. Both will be 10th and 11th. Caitlin Height, more important, may have had a penalty here for, according to her logic, at the very least, seeing the chat here, black for entering a closed pit when it was open. So it looks like she may have a black penalty that she may need to be cleared here. Now Zier dropping to the back here, so she will drop to the back here as well. So looks like Height may have got a penalty. We'll see if it's served or not, and Zier will drop back, giving Swatsworth the lead here under the caution. By the way, also while we're here as well, there's always, as we see the nice little shot here as they go across the start-finish line here. I just had her penalties cleared, by the way, so she will not face the wrath of the iRacing. But anyway, finish my point I was just about to bring up here. The reason why, if you're watching this race replay on YouTube, you want to be in the live chat, there was a poll here where you could guess out of the top four championship drivers who would win. That poll is now officially concluded a couple laps ago, and we'll see who ends up being the driver that won. Last time I checked, though, I think Swatsworth was the odds favorite to take the win in our current chat's prediction here. So we'll see how it all shakes up. But as the field gets bunched up with the one to go here, it's going to be Swatsworth and Constantinu, both drivers that are championship rivals here. 1-2. Then it's going to be Arnold and Wygant, Blowers, Mutre, Height, Peach, Sosi, Denny. So even though Sosi had to take service before making lap 70, he'll slot out P9, without P8, P9 in that 4th, 5th row situation. So it's not much of a penalty for taking that extra service there. So Swatsworth will have control here on the restart. We'll see how it all shakes up. This is the championship round, the decider. If we can go green to the finish, if the drivers want it. We'll see how this all plays. Okay, so we're going to take the lonesome trip down pit lane. In the restart zone they are. Green flag is out, and away we go for the final stage here in the HTL Auto Club race.
Whoa! Trouble!
Swatsworth got
really
again.
loose there.
Oh, Gaiman got loose in the back.
Trouble further back. Swatsworth got
loose.
bailed out, but that's Gaiman, his teammate, that's in trouble.
Ooh.
Caution's out once again.
This is an interesting situation at the very least. Swatsworth got loose, similar to Gaiman. Swatsworth will end up gaining a couple spots more here at the very least from where he spun when the caution came out. But, ooh, very interesting indeed. We'll take a look at this restart here.
This is going to be a very tight race here. Again, Swatsworth had the best restart you could get here on this. Outside lane, got clear, had full control. Wygen and Constantinu couldn't really do much about that. Constantinu really caught napping on that. Swatsworth had it in his grasp.
And then
Going
it just
through
kicked.
here.
We saw it many laps ago where the same thing happened. He just went up, car got loose, and he had to go way down.
You see just how skewed that car is. And then we'll look further back here. We'll look at Josh Gaiman.
Gaiman, purple machine, number 96.
He's a little bit further back here. And we're going to see if we can go
sideways.
Yeah, he's pretty sideways. Oh, he's well sideways. That's Whitlock. That's into him.
Yep.
Let's go back and let's see if he's got help. No help. You see him break away here. He's behind Henderson in the 25. And you're going to see that 96, center of your screen, just snap loose all of a sudden. Didn't even touch the seams. Just snap loose. Couldn't get it saved. And then loses traction again. It's Alfred Denny gets in trouble there. Everyone else managed to avoid him a decent amount there. And Josh Gaiman decided that he was just going to tow it back to pit lane from there.
Yeah. Not the race he was hoping for at the very least. He's had a bad couple weeks, and it's not going to play out. Zachary Apperson going to get the lap here. Interesting that he didn't get the wave around that last situation, but he'll now get his lap back, and will bring us to 17 cars on the lead lap at the very least. At the moment, we have Sharp, Whitlock, Britton, Proudfoot, Gaiman obviously just towed, all still one down. Actually, sorry, Sharp. Yeah, they're all one down. Got to make the count correct here. And we have 17 cars on the lap right now at the moment. Swatsworth ends up getting actually a few spots extra back with the time of the caution call, so he ended up being in 8th, 9th when he ended up at first, but gets back up to 5th. So Constantinu and Wygen, though, right now both drivers are technically happy. Constantinu, again, if this race were to end right now, which it's not going to, but if it were to end right now, Constantinu's happy because she gets the drivers, Wygen's happy because he gets the owners. Both are smiling as they lift their trophies simultaneously in victory lane. But Swatsworth and Sosi both looking to try to crash that party under the next restart. Speaking of the other championship driver, like I brought him up there in the lap down counter, Brandon Proudfoot still one down, got his lap back, but then ended up getting hurt by the pit cycle there. Now back to being one down, still with a bit of a wounded 31. He's going to need some help here or some pandemonium to try to get that car back in the competitive spot. Gaiman has now officially pulled it behind the wall, so now we'll see how it all cycles here. But at the moment, though, he will join the DNF crew. So as field gets bunched up here, make sure the lights are out on the pace car. They are out, so we'll be going green this time by. Front row is going to be Constantinu and Wygen. Second row will be Moutre and Arnold. Third row will be Blowers and Swatsworth. Height and Sosi row 4. And Parkhurst and Rodriguez, your 5th row. That will be your first 5 rows here on restart. And yeah, we'll see how this all shakes. Still a lot of fast cars outside that top 10. Hunter Peach, obviously, currently sitting in 12th position. DJ Trout 13th. Zachary Apps just got back to the lap. He'll be 14th. Lilac Sear 15th. Alfred Denny 17th. And Caleb Eichler, who again needs a good performance here, looking for a ride possibly next season, currently sitting in 12th. One of the biggest, not the biggest move. The biggest mover currently is Ryan Moutre, 26 from where he started, but one on the upper end of the bigger movers in this race.
Be a very interesting restart here with Constantinu, Wygen, Moutre, Arnold, Swatsworth, Blowers, Susi, Height, Rodriguez, and Peach in your top 10. Pace car pulls in. Constantinu and Wygen lead the field to green to the restart zone. Green flag in the air once more. We're underway.
Constantinu not caught napping that time by, but neither really was Wygant, as he'll get a good run here into the next corner, 3 and 4. And he should be able to clear that 61, and he will, to put Wygant back up to the lead here. But Constantinu going to try to do the over-under here, do the switchback. It will be side by side. That lap, I believe, went to Wygant, but both were relatively close there at the very least. Constantinu couldn't have to try to do what Wygant just did to her and try to slide back up here and make the clear. You'd see in the back, though, 3 wide between Moutre, Blowers, and Arnold. Looks like Blowers has got his internet relatively okayly clean here. Parker's, though, just had a little connection issue there, so he's still fighting the latency issues. And there, right there, even further behind that, you can see Susie and Wadsworth both side by side there, at least at the very least. Looks like that is settled out there, so obviously we'll get slightly ahead here of the 18 machine. But yeah, all on fighting there, 3 wide basically for 4th, 5th, all the way to the top 10 here, as this pack is very condensed and very feisty at the very least here, as drivers are ailing for positions. Blowers putting a little bit of a pinch on Rodriguez there on that high side. The battle for 3rd. You can see Height going to try to slide in line there just behind Sosi. Right there, though, the 81 is Sosi's going to try to make a move there on Blowers on the low side there.
Several cars touching the ball a little bit.
Moutre taps it just a bit.
Nighttime so far has been the right time for Wygant. Out in front and out and clear. How would this be a wrong time for a caution to come out here?
Oh, so as he tried to clear Arnold there, could not get the job done, was not clear. We'll lose a little bit of time here on the rundown. That's going to allow Moutre a chance to run back here. Obviously, a few drivers are hoping for a caution at the very least. Some of the ones that run down here, like Proudfoot, Sharp, Whitlock, and Burton. But, again, see how that all plays. Picho gets a good run there on that high side, ready to take the challenge there. There's Constantinu sitting in 2nd position. She's, again, well distance away here from Wygant. Wygant has checked out here, right on board here with Hunter Peach, as he's currently sitting in the middle here, right side by side on the corner panel with Sosi, just behind the 10 of Blowers, who's just going to almost clock the 1 there, as the side drafting getting very aggressive here as the night sky has already fallen and the twilight and the moon are currently out. Peach will clear Sosi and will jump to the low side here to cover off a charge and maybe try to make a slide up on Arnold, which is not much sense, as Moutre is not going to have that high line, but can't get the job done as Peach will clear up. And overall, it's going to be a gain of 1 position for Peach.
Keep an eye on this Hunter Peach, 199, 200 miles an hour. 203. That is insane speeds for this 7th gen car. Ooh, but he washed out really tight there. Carried way too much speed through 1 and 2. Had to get out of it. And now in trouble. Very interesting how this race plays out. Again, Wygant leads. He's in the Owners' Championship, not the Drivers' Championship. Constantinu 2nd is in the Drivers' Championship.
Again, it'd be the best of both.
Dual burnouts.
Yeah, it'd be the best of both worlds for both drivers. Both would get their desired outcomes here.
That's still so far away, though. Coming to 40 to go.
I'm not saying that's the desired outcome yet, but both would be happy to see that happen. But with 40 to go, you got a hungry Sosi there sitting behind Hunter Peach. And remember, 1 more round of green flag pit stops. The money stops, or yellow, depending if the caution were to come. We still have at least a round of pit stops to go here. Could easily make a change and make an effect that could affect these drivers. Again, you've seen it through series on series, where we've seen situations where cars have sped, cars have timed pit stops wrong, cars have gone for overcuts that did not work out, or undercuts that pinned them a lap down. We've seen it all happen on our time here covering races in our commentary careers and on ABN, and things can change in a heartbeat when it's all chips on the line. Oh, car big in the lick there in the background there. My perspective, we'll keep it clean though and keep it green. As you can see, Arnold will get around Rodriguez. Constantinu falling the wrong way quickly. She's now down to 5th. He's falling in with the Wolves here. Right in the mirror, you can see Sosi trying to get a slipstream run on Constantinu, and Swatsworth currently sitting in P9. And Elijah got a second gap on this pack we're watching right now.
And watching, clear by a second. He's got a really good run here going on. He's sitting lofty at the moment. He's trying to stay that way.
Meanwhile, I'm keeping an eye a little bit further back here as well to watch this battle up front. I'm keeping an eye on the lap down battle right now between Sharp and Proudfoot at the very least right now. As you see in the wide shot there, you can see him right around Zachary Aberson right there, along with Swatsworth back there as well. Fight is on, because if a caution were to come out, if Proudfoot looks like he's got that car relatively up to speed here, and he needs a caution though or something to bring one more challenge to this pack, and if that caution would come out, being behind Sharp is not going to help that 31 get their lap back and make a champ for this championship fight. So back up to the front, we've still been watching while we're talking about that. Arnold is sitting in second right now at the moment. Peach, though, side by side with Constantinu. And then you can see Sosi right there, just trying to find a line and make something happen here. Ooh, Arnold cleared himself in front of Yai here. We're right on board here. And I believe that's the 81 Associate. It is the 81 Associate. Thank you, Graphic. 3 laps led tonight. One of the lower halves of Sosi's lap led. He usually leads a little bit more laps, but not complaining at the moment. Surviving a few scares and a few pit lane incidences. Trying to make something happen. Riding the 24 inspired helmet there. Maybe to find some good luck, even though he usually runs that week in, week out.
See that Swatsworth just behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a sandwich because it's ahead of him. If you're playing forward, there's Caitlin Height. Surprise. And look at Constantinu falling backwards in that 61. Mm-hmm. She's falling right back to him.
And again, this is where having teammates could help you in certain spots.
That was close.
Hold that spot. But like I was saying, this
quarter given.
No.
Caitlin Height trying to get around Constantinu still. And they're going to squeeze each other tight there, and there's going to be contact between the 11 and the 61. Do they bounce off each other again? Ooh, that was tight. Mm-hmm. Constantinu stuck the long way out here, out of the draft, out of formation, and losing spots. Caitlin Height playing the team game, trying to help Swatsworth, more importantly. Height's not in this for the championship. She's out. She was out in the round of 8. Mm-hmm. She was actually out in the round of 12. She didn't make the round of 8. So it's very important for Height to be careful with that, though, because she's trying to help her teammate. You don't want to wreck another contender as well. You don't want to have a suspension looming over your head at the end of the season going into next season. That would be worst case scenario for Caitlin Height. But everyone avoids that melee. Caitlin Height helps Sad Swatsworth. Trouble! That is Proudfoot! Proudfoot to the inside, and he has smacked the wall a little bit. There's a little bit of damage there. I don't think he got... Oh, no, that car's damaged.
Yeah.
That car is severely wounded.
He's going to get that car
wounded. Okay, still rolling.
Yeah.
No caution.
But that's going to be a death nail.
That is, yeah, as you're mentioning there, that is nail in the coffin. That is championship campaign over.
And I was talking about how he was pushing hard to try to get ahead, just in case a caution were to come out, to try to be on the lucky dog spot, as he was fighting hard with Sharp and the few competitors running like Whitlock, but ended up kind of going a little bit too aggressive, like Icarus, flew a bit too close to the sun, and that will be nail in the coffin. So it looks like pit stops may be occurring here. Trout just said on the radio that I may be pitting, could be pitting this time by. So we'll see if that prophecy comes true. Actually, it looks like my call was wrong on that one. So not yet in the window yet, but we're looming being able to make it on one final pit stop here. It's coming close. And then the question is, undercut, overcut, what do you feel will provide you the best chance at victory? Tires matter. But if you can get track position, maybe run away. Because look at Wygent right now, 1.14 clear. and still gaining at the moment as Arnold is kind of playing good blocker there. Look at Height making a move, gonna go low, try to make this maybe a 2-for-1 special to try to get that 11 up to third as Arnold's gonna cut off, and that's gonna wash up the 11 just a bit, almost in the eye here. Rodriguez in third position, but Arnold controlling the lines well for second, and this is what YJ wants to see in the first spot there, as he is just checked out. Doesn't have to worry about much, just run your lines and make sure you keep that 24 fast.
Susie to the inside of Arnold, fanning out through turns 1 and 2. Susie knows there's a lot on the line for him because his car's in both championship conversations, as is the 18, as was the 31. Rodriguez will get around the 55 of Arnold. So Rodriguez clear for second. Height trying to get clear for third, hoping Rodriguez returns the favor. He does. Height for third. And here comes Height for second.
Yep, not going to let that sit inside here. Going to get the run while she has it. Going to clear out. So now Height will take the lead in the train. Rodriguez will be third. Arnold fourth. Sosi could not follow through. They're pinched on that low side. We'll follow back a bit. And again, there's Constantinu, and there is Swatsworth in the distance. Constantinu going to try to get a run here. Actually, that's Arnold, my mistake, getting a run on that car in question.
That's
and just to
Hunter
confirm, yep, Hunter Peach, thank you. A lot of red cars in that little pack there.
Proudfoot's day is done. I think that's what you're trying to get to there.
Correct.
Proudfoot is done after 91 laps. His championship ambition comes to a close. What could be his final race in HTL for the time being. Comes to a close. He'll be fourth in the championship fight.
Fourth from the owners and fourth from the drivers. Good drive there, but just got bit by a late a caution he was involved in and just could never get it back rolling again once he got the damage fixed.
3 wide. Rodriguez, Constantinu trying to get cleared, clears herself over Rodriguez, almost gets turned off the nose of Rodriguez, and the reason why is because Swatsworth on the outside lane was doing the exact same thing. So it's still melee here in this battle for the top 5. There's, whoa, trouble! Trouble! Car on the inside lane. Is that Constantinu? It is! Constantinu in the grass. Constantinu hip check out of the top 10, down to 13th, possibly further down. Whitlock gets through either lap down. Constantinu 13th and out of the conversation in 13th place, and now in need of a miracle.
Yep, got hip checked by Arnold there again. Could have hit the wall, could have hit the tires. She's got a chance, but she's going to need a caution or something to get back in this. And right there, no, she has fallen way back. She's going to need something to tow rope, a banana, a bullet bill, whatever you want to throw out there, but she's going to need a miracle. But that's going to change the throw up front. 2 drivers right now, third and fourth in that commotion. They've got third and fourth, Sosi and Swatsworth. Wygant still leading the owners, but that's the battle for the drivers right now between Sosi and Swatsworth.
This is what matters right now. Susie and Swatsworth for the driver's title. Wygant trying to bring home the owners championship for coast to coast. The consolation prize for a season that started late for Wygant, jumped in as a substitute driver for that team. The drivers, Susie opened the season with the race win at Daytona. 3 wins this season as a rookie in this series. Swatsworth, winless, but in the championship for the same position he was in a year ago. Finished second in the championship twice. Season 2, finished second to Matthew Boone, who is not present tonight. Season 3, finished second to Zach Meredith, who was out of this race in 22nd place.
Speaking of, we have a pass here for the lead. Here's Height getting caught back up to the 24.
Wygant burned up his stuff. So Wygant is now in the grasp of Caitlin Height, who won this race in the beginning of the season, early on. Knows how it's like to win here, knows what it's like to be in this situation, gets clear of Wygant. 3 championship contenders, second, third, and fourth, all trailing the winningest driver in HTL history at the moment, Caitlin Height, at the front of the field, 4 cars and a blanket. Behind that, pick your favorite driver because they're 3 wide.
Yeah, they're going to catch Blake Henderson here. He's going to stay to the high side here, not try to challenge the fight here. But this is where we were talking about earlier about having friends in good places right now. Height right now is teammates with Swatsworth.
Yes.
There's not much you really can do here per se, but you can check up line just a bit if necessary.
You can manipulate the lanes for sure, yeah.
Yeah, you can help out Swatsworth if necessary and try to keep the 24 and the 81 at bay. But how close do you want to fly to that sun? Because we see as this race goes on, drivers aren't going to intentionally wreck.
And
but
there
if you
is
get
one
taken,
pit stop left. That is the big key, critical part of this. That last pit stop could be everything. Susie has won on pit stops. Swatsworth has won on pit stops. Wygant has made pit stops his go-to MO in the Truck Series campaign.
Oh, a little bit further back, Eichler got in the wall, was sharp. Almost should have maybe been a caution, but we stay clean. Caitlin Height coming in this time by. Hand out the window. She's going low.
Looks
That's
like
going to be the case
Swatsworth
here.
may be doing the same thing. Also look to the outside. Let's see here. Does Wygant also come in? Wygant running the low lane as well. Through 3 and 4. Wygant and Height both in. Susie and Swatsworth on their own devices lead the field. Less than 25 to go. 23 to go at the line.
Oh, this calls
is outstanding. Championship fight at the front of the field. Last season, Hunter Peach played spoiler, but it was Zach Meredith that got the race win. Obviously, they became teammates in Season 4. That did not pan out for them. Now you have adversaries that have fought so long and have respect for each other all the way through. Susie and Swatsworth get to duke it out again, as they did at Homestead.
Both in.
And they both come in here. They cover off Height and Wygant. Susie stays out. Susie does not come in. Swatsworth is in. So is Blowers, Rodriguez, Arnold, Nutre. Parker stays out. Donaldson stays out. A caution now would be devastating. But Susie's going to have to come in at some point. No one can make it on fuel without a stop from here.
It's interesting because I saw Swatsworth. He came in very conservative, did not want to speed, which I don't blame him on that strategy. But I wonder if he came in too cautious when I watched him. He makes it in his box. Oh, he misses boxes a little bit. He had to reverse. He had to reverse just a bit. That could cost him some time here. Now you can see the 81 coming in here. We'll see how it all cycles out here in the moment.
Susie, then Parkhurst. Parkhurst will stay out here. He'll lead a lap. Consolation prize to end the season for Parkhurst. Donaldson 2.7 behind in the 22.
Sosi, I'm keeping on his box right now.
He's lot of cars leaving pit lane. That's Henderson. That's Blowers. That is the 18 of Swatsworth. Height's gotten through. Wygant's gotten through. Peach has gotten through. Swatsworth needs a mistake by Susie on pit lane. He's leaving his box now. I don't think that was a mistake.
No,
coming to 21 laps to go here.
Keeping an eye on the clocks here. I'm going to tell you what time he hits the outline here.
Here he's right there. We're looking at him.
47 seconds in his box. Pit lane time for him. So Swatsworth was 52. So you're just going to see the effects right there.
That is a 4-second swing. Swatsworth had it in his hands in the last pit stop.
Oh, Susie loose on the exit! Susie loose on the exit!
Susie in trouble! Susie in huge trouble! That's not going to be enough for Swatsworth to get to him, but he will drop behind Peach.
And the 11.
Wow.
And Wygant.
That is crazy. Absolutely wild stuff. This is a sprint with 20 to go, coming to 19 to go. Oh my goodness. Parkhurst and Donaldson in. Height inherits the race lead now with 20 to go here for them now as the leaders come out of pit lane. All to play for in these final 20 laps.
Gap from Sosi to Swatsworth a little over a second and a half right now. So Sosi's not going to have much help. I mean, the Swatsworth's not going to have much help here. He's going to have to try to run him down here. This is where Jake...
Was that trouble? Was that car in the back?
Yeah, yellow flag.
That is Parkhurst. That was backwards. He had a wild incident. Caution's out. Oh,
and that's going to neutralize it. Parkhurst,
my goodness.
He was pitting that time, so that was a pit exit for the Parkhurst, if I'm not mistaken. So what happened to him? It was pit exit.
We're going to take a look at it. Parkhurst. Oh, my goodness. This is Mark Parkhurst. We're looking at center of your screen. Does he get loose like Susie did? Oh, he does.
He did.
Oh, my goodness. And that is Apperson. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Flight. Big flight there. I think he was higher than the catch fence there when it snapped. Almost.
Oh, this changes everything.
100%.
Let's go high above. Mark Parkhurst trying to exit pit lane.
Fast as he can.
There's Whitlock in the 35, Arnold in the 55. And it snaps, just that slight snap in the overcorrection as the front tires grip. and straight, hard impact to the outside wall and gets shot up into the air by Apperson. Airtime and an aeroplane crash for Mark Parkhurst.
Interesting up front. Oh, there was some big commotion up front. There were drivers not pitting and not pitting. You just saw, right
Caitlin
there.
Heights in. Susie and Swatsworth stay out. Zier
they did a
stays
switch.
out.
They did a switch swatch there. I was watching it. Height came in, and so did Wygent, along with Peach and a few others. They flip-flop. Sosi barely made it out on the switch there, along with Swatsworth. So now, this is interesting. Constantinu also stayed out as well. So top 7 all staying out here. And then you got Wygent, Rodriguez, Trout, Height, Apperson obviously came in for damage. Denny, Peach, all in for tires, fuel, use a set if you got it. So now, this is interesting. The 3 drivers champions, the 3 in the drivers championship right now still running. They all stayed out.
Yes.
Pacey Wygent, the one in the owners, the only one in the owners that is along with Swatsworth and the other one, Susie, thank you, all in that situation. He pitted for tires. We know that 24 is a rocket on fresh tires. He's taking a chance here and going to try to run towards the front and run them down, while Susie and Swatsworth going to be on the front row here. And this is where it got interesting too. Because of that mistake, Swatsworth probably would have had the lead if he didn't have that mistake on pit lane. So again, this is a blessing and a curse. These late restarts, we know how wild this race has been. Now the gloves are off. There's no longer the spacing we had. We had that natural flow of the race in stage 3. That is gone now. You talk about the championship rounds. You've put 2 exhausted juggernauts in the ring, and you're letting them swing for the fences. It's haymakers, hooks, uppercuts, the whole 9 yards. Throw the kitchen sink at it and see what sticks. Susie's going to choose the outside lane on this restart, almost certainly. Swatsworth has to try to figure out how he's going to take over this restart here and really take it to Susie. Constantinu really needs a lot of commotion in this race. She sits in the 4th row in 7th place. Caitlin Height there on the outside lane in 8th on fresh tires. Free pit stop for Caitlin Height there. Able to really charge through with 17 to go. We saw the tires in stage 1. 17 laps, the tires clipped. The cars that stayed out, the 7 that stayed out, are going to hit that cliff quickly. These tires are going to fire up for them really quickly because they're going to heat up really quickly because they're already worn. But they're going to cliff a lot easier as well. And when they cliff, it is a face dive for these tires when they do. Caitlin Height in a really good spot, but it is going to be traffic all the way through. Wygent, Peach, obviously a lot of drivers wanting to play spoiler. Wygent looking for a team victory for Coast to Coast in their last race in this season as things currently stand. Look at Rodriguez, still has not won a race in HTL. Out of a ride right now as things stand, would love to be able to prove himself a way into the seat in Season 5. So much in the air, coming to 16 laps to go. For everyone tuning in, this is the final race, the championship round of the HTL Cup Series season, the Pacific 250 here in Fontana. And the championship favorites are at the front of the field. Josh Susie, 3 race wins in his career, 3 of them in this season. Chad Swatsworth, race wins of his own, winless this season. Does the Cinderella story happen with Swatsworth? Finally, we'll find out. 16 to go. Green flag is in the air. We're underway once again. Susie with a great restart. Swatsworth covered off. 3rd place of Bobby Blowers. Zier in 4th. Moutre 5th. Pandemonium behind as they all fan out, but Susie's got control. Cars loose. Moutre in the wall. Henderson in the wall.
Henderson
in the wall there in the back.
Henderson and Sharp, cautions out.
Yep, quick caution there. We're going to restack them. But that's
Sharp just got back on the lead lap, too.
Oh. All right, we'll take that excitement, put it in a box, and we'll reopen it again in 3 laps time. Because that's interesting.
Dear.
Sosi is a threat on these restarts of open space. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let's take a look at the incident first here. Looks like...
Let's go high above here. Let's go with the blimp cam. And this is, I think, Sharp helping Henderson around.
Henderson said he got ran over.
Yeah, he did get ran over. You see it here. Henderson in the middle of the racetrack. Sharp just drifts out and just runs him over. Yeah, Henderson's just there. Sharp just runs him over.
And then
obviously this ends Henderson's day completely. That's on Sharp 100%.
Yeah, even questioning if a headset or something died there to cause that. But yeah, overall,
that is on Sharp there. And for a driver out of a ride, that is not a way to impress people to try to get a ride for next season at all.
Especially the owner of one of the teams in question.
Especially, yeah, one of the owners that you could really see here. Especially when you look at the teams conversation with Lady Liberty and Valfreya. Those two teams at the front of the field, as well as Arrowhead Racing. A lot of open seats now that are looking at Sharp like, why did you do that? We were going to have a race here with 15 to go, and now we're under caution once again.
And at the same point, that also raises a secondary question as well, in that point as well, is... Well, I lost my train of thought there on that point. Oh, no, penalty, yeah, because we were talking about you don't want to give yourself a penalty for the opening round next season, and right now that could be something that looms as well. So that's another issue that could rear its ugly head as well. But with 14 to go there, you can see Carr going, getting the lap back. That's 35 getting the lap back. Hunter Whitlock. Hunter Whitlock now on the lead lap, going to give us 17 cars on the lead lap. It's interesting. Constantinu, Swatsworth, Sosi have all made their bed. The more laps to tick off with cautions, allowing less time for Height, Wygen, the ones that pitted, to run back down here. And also preserving the tires of Sosi, Swatsworth, and the rest to help them out here. So this caution is kind of a blessing for the ones that stayed out, giving them the chance to tick those laps down. Obviously, if you've made your bed, you're not pitting. Personally, I feel like Constantine maybe could have pitted under the last caution, not this one currently, the previous one for 4 tires.
Yeah.
But you wanted the track position.
There is the obviously hindsight being 2020. Constantine should have pit on that last caution.
Yeah, but I can see why she was far enough back that she wanted the track position, but having the fresh tires could have gave her a chance to run them down. So, catch-22.
This is going to be absolutely wild, though, looking at how this race is going to shake out. This is, again, championship leaders at the front of the field. Susie in the race lead, Swats in second. Let's see how they handle this next restart. Because, again, they have to be picture perfect on this restart to hold on to that and really sort of isolate themselves. Lilac's here. What a way to play spoiler if she can do that. Made it into the playoffs. Didn't make it very far into the playoffs. Say didn't make far into the playoffs. Was in the round of 8. Just wasn't really close to being in the championship 4 there at the end of it. What a way to play spoiler here. If she can get around both the championship leaders to win the race for Stepping Stone Motorsports. You look at Caitlin Height now in this mix. In the 3rd row behind Ryan Moutre. Height and Constantinu. No love lost between those two cars. We've already seen them make contact tonight. Keep an eye on that fight. Josh Arnold, it's a season of what could have been. Taking out that crash at Bristol did not really sit well with him. Looking for some vindication, a race win to be vindication for him. He's got fresh tires to make that happen as well. Rodriguez and Peach, they're on fresh tires as well. They just haven't had a chance to really fire them up. That's your top 10. 17 cars on the lead lap. William Britton, 1 lap down. If another caution comes out, he would be on the lead lap. He's further back there ahead of the Oreos car, just off to the right-hand side there on your screen. That was William Britton there at the back of the field. Again, 1 lap down for him. Hunter Whitlock, 16th place at the very end of the field, serving I believe, a pit exit penalty. So he's just dropped to the end of the field here. So 17 cars on the lead lap. 18 cars on this restart. Actually, excuse me, 19 cars. Zach Meredith is back on track in the 20th position, just trying to finish the season out for Pride. The pace car is going to take the left on the pit lane. Is this for all the marbles? Coming to 12 to go. To the restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air. 12 to go. 24 miles. In the Pacific in the Pacific 250.
And this is where it gets risky because we know Sosi, I was trying to say, is very strong at pulling away here.
Keep an eye on the 11. Keep the eye on the 11 of Height. If she doesn't think that Swadsworth can make it, or if Swadsworth doesn't think that he can make it,
let the 11 go.
Height can play spoiler. Height can play spoiler.
That may be a smart strategy. Let the 11 go.
Keep an eye on the 24 of Wygen. Behind Zier now, trying to find a way through, just like with Height. 1-2, Susie and Swadsworth. Height, does she play rear gunner or does she try to go for spoiler?
Honestly, I would, if I was 18 right now, let the 11 go.
I don't know, because Swansford's right there with Susie. They're both right there, and they're clear. They're clear.
Sure.
Height and Mootre are side by side. There's a bit of a breakaway here before you get to Height, because Height can't handle the dirty air and also not being able to run the outside lane. Trying to thread the inside lane, all the tires are still cold. They're getting back up the temperature, and Moutre's on older tires. He can heat those tires up quicker. Height's got to wait at least 3 laps to be able to really make progress on that, and that's frustrating when your championship teammate is right there needing your help.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if Height can get those up to speed and get going, you may want to let her go, just on the point that it would help check up or give you a run or even give you a push to try to make it happen. Right there, though, Moutre being a bit of a friend for Sosi right now at the moment. There you can all see Wygent ripping the high side right there in P7. Remember, if he can get ahead here, too, on those fresh
Wygent
tires,
tags the wall, so did Trout. Wygent in the wall, so did Trout. Wygent still looking to try to get around 0. Wygent down in the 6th spot, out of the conversation at the moment, coming in 9 laps to go. Susi looking for his 4th win if he can make it happen this season. Oh, this is going to be tight. There's Moutre in 3rd, looking to play spoiler. Kalen Height in pursuit as well. Zier holding off Wygent. Cars in the wall entering turn 1. We stay green.
I want to say one thing worth noting. There are some lap traffic on the back straightaway. The 17, 13, and the 10. They're a little bit farther up the road right now. There's a good chance they will catch the 17 before this is all said and done. But the 17 probably won't put up much of a fight being that many laps down. Height there on the inside right now. Going to try to rip it on the low side. Tires should be coming up to speed quickly here. He's got to make the move aggressively here at the moment to try to help her teammate.
And for Swatsworth, you've got to move to the bottom and help Oh, car spun! Car spun! Hunter Peach!
Hunter Peach, and that will be a caution. 61 also involved as well.
Oh, is that Constantine that got spun? Yeah, it was Constantine that got spun off the nose of Peach. So trouble once again for Constantinu. Wow.
And that's going to take more laps off the chase for Swatsworth, Height, and Arrowhead.
Now, here's where we flip the script kind of changes a little bit. Remember the rules in HTL Cup Series competition. It is very unique to HTL. The Cup Series, unlimited overtime attempts. This is the only series ABN broadcast where that exists. Unlimited overtime attempts. As long as you see the white flag, that's what matters. Until you see the white flag, we go until we see it.
We go until we see the sun. Or the session lobby ends. But anyway, this is going to be interesting. When we get going again, it's probably going to be 6 to go, maybe 5 to go, depending on how you want to slice the lap here. Wygent up to 5th, more importantly right now. We'll take a look here on the replay first, and we'll reset the field. There's Constantinu on the high side, Peach on the low side. What exactly happens here? Peach with those fresh tires.
I don't know if Constantinu tried moving down and Peach was there. If Peach just moved up a little bit, could be a little bit of option A, option B. Let's go back and look at that in slow motion. So this is in slow motion. Constantinu in the 61, Peach in the 1. Constantinu moves down a little bit there.
Yeah.
Peach was giving no space there, and Constantinu, I think, was trying to chase Rodriguez.
Trying to get some side draft, trying to get some draft, and just the 1 was right there.
Constantinu does a really good job, once again, of keeping this car from absolutely totaling itself, either on the inside the pit wall or the outside wall. But a wild spin puts Constantinu now in 13th.
Which is going to be helpful at the very least. If something wads it up front, keeping that car clean is definitely important at the very least.
Fresh tires, though, for Constantinu. Obviously, spinning those tires out. You're going to need some fresh ones on, but that also makes it very, very important to get those tires fired up here on what could be the final restart of the race. Josh Armour came down pit lane as well, as did Hunter Whitlock. So we should see William Britton on the lead lap now here, and that should give us 18 cars on the lead lap. Again, 30 cars took the start of this race.
Yeah. Oh, this is the drama of season finishing.
You're telling me.
You're the owner of one of these cars, 2 of these cars. I'm just sitting here as the passenger with no allegiance to anyone here, and I am feeling the nervousness right now. And I'm not sitting in the cockpit. I'm not running for a championship. I don't own any of these cars, and I am nervous, which should show the effect. If I'm nervous, what's it in everyone else's perspective?
This the calm and cool drivers, obviously you look at people like Christina Ryan, right? They don't let this get to them as much, or they try to downplay it. If you're Susie or Swatsworth looking for a championship, your first championship at HTL, you are sweating bullets. We're going green with 5 laps to go. 10 miles is all it takes for a championship at this stanza of the race. Konstantin, who's center of your screen, down in the 13th position, needs a miracle. Needs an absolute miracle. The thing is, HTL is a feast or famine place. Miracles happen at the most awkward of times. And with the championship contenders, at the championship leaders at the front of the field, side by side, once again for the 3rd straight restart, does a miracle happen in Fontana? That is a question Swatsworth's been asking. He's finished runner-up 2 seasons in a row. He's been the bridesmaid in the championship 2 seasons in a row. Kalen Heights, restarting this race in the 4th position. Twice the regular season champion, twice out of the running for the actual HTL Cup Series championship. Josh Susie, as a rookie, came in from a race director position from behind the scenes, gave all of that up to come and race for Lady Liberty Motorsports for Kevin Gibney and Callie Height. Can lead them to the promised land for the first time. Already led them to 3 race wins. Does tonight make it 4? Bianca Constantinou, waiting for a miracle, can stepping stone reach the summit here in their 2nd season after coming close in season 3. 5 laps, 10 miles, pace cars in pit lane, restart lane, we're going through, green flag is out. And that's a way better restart by Swatsworth.
Wygen tried pushing that Mutroy right there. Height gets clear for 3rd.
So I think Height held up Rodriguez just enough to let Swatsworth go ahead. I think a little bit of teamwork there. Height trying to play a rear gunner. Trouble, Arnold.
That's Constantinou. Arnold
Not
in trouble. Watching. Now, Joe, it's Constantinou. 61 also farther back slower.
Huge trouble, but off the racing line. We stay green. And once again, we talk about needing a miracle. Now
look at Wygen bodying the 11 there.
Woo!
No love lost between the 2 of them. That's the Owners' Championship for 24. If that 24 gets out of that 11, Swatsworth's not going to have much help to try to get around that 81.
The issue is that he doesn't need Height to help. He needs Height to hold Wygen back. 4 to go, less than 8 miles here in Fontana. This is what it's all to play for. Trouble still. Mutre and Peach, they're in the wall together. No caution. They keep it pointed straight. They keep it in the right direction. Good job by both Mutre and Peach. That could have been a disaster piece on its own. But it's not over yet. 2 cars in the running. 3 side by side, side draft behind. Susie has the advantage. Swatsworth trying to chase him down. 3 to go, 6 miles.
Wygen trying to get clear there for 3rd. Can't get the job done quite yet. Height and Wygen still side by side for 3rd.
Oh, there's Constantin on the inside lane. Got to be careful in the pit exit. We've seen what happened with Mark Parkhurst.
And Susie as well, the other direction.
Susie, obviously, Susie got lucky there. Parkhurst did not. Wygen clear for 3rd. Oh, this is
challenge here.
You can feel the intensity ramping up. These are the championship laps. It all comes down to this. 2 laps to go at the line. Susie leads. Swatsworth and Wygen. Height in 4th. Blowers in 5th. Rodriguez, Donaldson, Trout, Mutre, Peach, your top 10. Less than 4 miles to go. Height still challenging Wygen. Forces Wygen wide. Swatsworth on the bottom. Susie has his free pick. But this is as close as Swatsworth has been. Susie swerves back and forth. Inside out. Trying to break the draft. He's doing what he's got to. Here comes Wygen. Wygen going to try to go for 2nd place. It's win or nothing for all these drivers now. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics.
Susie blocking like it's Indianapolis right there, dropping high, low, Drake in the toes. Swatsworth's falling down to 3rd. Not what he's going to need to see here with Blowers to his side.
Susie coming to a mile left in this race. It's got to be a send from Wygen if it's going to happen at all. We've not seen Wygen be in this position before. He's always been in the favored position. That's not the case now. coming through 3 and 4 for the final time for a championship on the line. Susie ahead of Wydget. Josh Susie is HTL Cup Series champion of Season 4.
He will also get the Owners' Championship as well with that great performance. Wydget 1 position short. He will finish second in the Owners. Swatsworth will finish second in the Drivers. And Constantin will finish third in the Drivers. But more importantly, Sosi, though, will bring it back to him, put the spotlight in him. Take your flowers. Had a great drive at Bristol last week to get himself the chance here. Had to have a good drive. Remember at Kentucky, it felt like a situation where he could have been on the outside looking in. He drove it back. He made it count. He made the season work. He just needed to get himself in a fighting chance here tonight at Auto Club, and he's done it, and he will take the championship both for the Owners and the Drivers, and I don't think there'll be any stopping Sosi tonight as he is going to burn it down till that engine probably explodes.
This is your winning moment. Champions made in Fontana, and a fantastic season for Josh Susi. 4 wins, and now HTL Cup Series champion for Season 4. Lady Liberty Motorsports, welcome to immortality.
The mailman delivered. He's delivered the mail, and inside that package is a trophy.
We'll hear from our post-race interviews here in just a moment. Josh Susi.
Oh, William Britton right there playing a game of chicken real fast, but Sosi. Ooh, great
What
drive,
a
there.
Obviously, outstanding all season long. Race winner from the season opener. He begins the season and ends the season the same way, and that's with the trip to victory lane. The 81 car, and long last, back in victory lane, and with a championship to hoist. Josh Susi is just doing a fantastic job. What a race. What a way to end off the season.
Again, he's not probably showing a lot of emotion on the radio chatter right there, but you know for a fact that's stress off the shoulders. That's just looking right now. You've done it all. You've fought a whole season, countless months to win this championship, and it came down to the final race. And again, I keep stating it, Kentucky, it looked like he was done. It looked like it was over. This was the season done, and he got it back. He's turned the tides at North Wilkesboro. He won at Daytona, then got another good win at North Wilkesboro, that big, long 200-mile race there. Got it going. It's a season of getting it in the right gear, right track, and he stepped up to the occasion, got to the crunch time rounds, and didn't allow him to put him down. And that's a championship drive, a championship performance, and he's going to be smiling from ear to ear. He's going to park it in the victory lane right there. Well-deserved. Props to him, that 81, and we'll see what's next for that 81. And like you said, Carmen, immortality awaits for Sosi and Liberty Lady Motorsports. Yeah, for those still tuning in as well, Sosi's going to burn it till the engine explodes here. We're going to hear from the top 3 interviews. We're going to hear from Sosi, Wydget, Flowers. We may even get maybe another championship contender here if we can. But Sosi, again, not going to keep him out of the grandstands tonight, as he is your race winner, your champion, and Lady Liberty Motorsports has won the Owners as well with that 81. Take a bow, Joshua Sosi.
And it does not get much better than that for Josh Susi. In victory lane, an outstanding turn of events. Champion of Season 4. An outstanding result all the way through. And a very tense, a very tight race in that fight. Josh Susi in victory lane, obviously he's going to take time to celebrate with his team. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Not a doubt in my mind he's going to celebrate. And we're really going to kind of just decompress, because that is a lot of pressure to hold in. He was in that position for so long. Absolutely outstanding. Take a bow, Josh Susi. We'll talk to Bobby Blowers. He finished third in this race. we'll see if we can talk to all of our podium finishers here, and so obviously see if we can talk to Chad Swatsworth, who once again finishes second in the championship. We'll talk to everyone here in just a moment. We'll start with Bobby Blowers, third place finisher here tonight. Bobby, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
Sure do.
That was an absolutely wild race. Started this race in 26th, didn't have a great qualifying run, didn't get to lead any laps, but from 26th to 3rd at the finish, you got to see the championship fight in front of you all race long. Walk us through it. This was a wild race start to finish.
I don't even know what to say. That was a crazy one. I was just trying to do my best to stay out of the way of the championship battle while still doing the best I can for my team. But yeah, right at the end there, I knew I had pretty fresh tires and just came on right at the right time. That was fun.
Obviously, for you, it was you were in the playoffs, major playoffs as a rookie there. Didn't have a chance to really go and fight for the championship here, but being able to be in this mix with the eventual championship for and being in that fight. Obviously, Season 5 begins there in late April with some time to figure everything out. What was that feeling like for you, knowing that you were able to hang in there with the championship leaders and actually be able to fight with them in this final race? What does that do for you mentally to end off the season that was good, but still had so much more to offer?
Oh, it feels great, just knowing that I can stay up there and actually have pace. But it's hard to not look back and feel like I could have gotten a little bit luckier there in the round of 16 especially, but just makes me look more towards the future and see what I can do in the future.
Obviously, you did a fantastic job here tonight, and obviously the season so much up in the air as far as HTL. Where does Orlando Outlaws go? Obviously, you spent time in the Ascent car to end out the season just to make sure you had a chance to really make every race without any issues. What does next season look like for you? Obviously, we get to see you in the ABN Champ Car World Series. We get to see you in other series throughout the spring break here. What does next season look for you, and what's the next objective for you as far as getting things ready for next season, if that's on the cards?
I'd like to stay competing in the Cup Series, but just finding a charter is going to be the hard part. I know it sounds silly having as much pace as I do, but I just can't find one right now. But if anybody watching wants to sell one, we're interested. Just let me know. DM me.
Obviously, a lot of racing still. Obviously, the season ends here for the Cup Series, but obviously Champ Car on Wednesday at Homestead. We get to go from coast to coast. And then, obviously, more racing just throughout the week, obviously, in ARCs. Obviously, HTL is going to be coming back up here in April, late April. You got everything ready to go. So you're going to be busy, obviously, trying to get things set up for Orlando Outlaws there. Before we let you go, though, obviously, we have a lot of people to talk to. But before we let you go, if there's anyone to give flowers to, say thank you to, shout out, what a season it was for you. A race win in Atlanta, your first race win in HTL competition, getting yourself into the playoffs and fighting throughout the playoffs to show what you're made of, show what that 10 car was made of. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort here tonight. Third place here in Fontana in the season.
Yeah, thank you. I'll keep it short and sweet. Thank you to Eli Sasick and Selena Thompson for the car. Thank you to Connor Morse for running my 34 car tonight. Try to get a couple more spots in owners' points if we can there. Big thank you to Lily Frazier for being in my ear on the calls and pit cycle calls and everything that happened throughout that race.
Absolutely. A team effort all the way through. Bobby Blowers' third place finish here tonight to end the season. A race win at Atlanta. And hopefully able to do much more. We get to see him again on Wednesday night. I'll be racing against him on Wednesday at Homestead, right here in ABN 1. Bobby, enjoy the race podium. Enjoy all the racing between now and late April, whatever comes between now and then. And hopefully get to see you back on track here at Daytona in late April in 2 months. That was Blowers, the third place finisher here tonight. We'll move on to Pacey Wygent. We'll talk to second place in the race. Pacey Wygent did an outstanding job, led a really decent amount of laps here in this race, but it's second place in both the race and the Owners' Championship. Pacey, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty. Pole position, 29 laps led, stayed consistently in the top 10 all night long. but it's the unpredictability of Fontana that gives and takes away. You won here 6 days ago. You say you came so close to doing it again. Walk us through this race for you, and especially those final few laps where it seemed like it was you against the world, at least trying to get to Susie at the end of that race.
I mean, I just wish there wasn't so many cautions. If there was not as many cautions at the end, I think I would have been able to drive back up through the field. But Caitlin battled me really hard, and that's completely okay. But yeah, it's just I think if I could have cleared Caitlin a little bit faster, I would have probably been able to get the win. I felt I was faster than Susie and Chad there, so disappointed that I wasn't able to get the win, but hey, it is what it is. Second place is still good. Third on the season, so I feel like I did my job well tonight. Brought home the 24 car, pretty solid finish. So congrats to Sosi on the championship, and yeah.
Obviously, it's a really big night. Obviously, across the board in HTL, way to end off season 4 on a high note, a very frantic note for you. We obviously talked about this on Tuesday. Obviously, not sure where you're going to really land here. You're going to be busy anyway. You're in the ARC Race for a Cup Series. We didn't get to see you last night. We get to see you tonight here. A lot of racing between now and next April when we start seeing the season 5 stuff come in for HTL. Outside of ARCs, we get to see you on Sunday nights. What all's coming up here for you to kind of occupy your time until April so we can really kind of see where you're going to be and if we do get to see Pacey Wygent in season 5 in any capacity, whether it's trucks, national, cup, or anything else?
I'm not really sure what I'll be doing next season. It's kind of like the truck series is all up in the air right now. I got a lot of personal stuff going on. I'm trying to cut back on some racing, so trying to keep it to just the weekends, but I might show up once or twice throughout the season. Not too sure. Just depends on what rides there are and who wants to give me the shot.
Well, with performances like we've seen from you all season long in the trucks and the Cup Series, I'm pretty sure opportunities are going to be knocking for you here in HTL. Obviously, we get to see you still on Sundays in the ARCS A-Square Cup Series. But before we let you go, obviously a second place here, one spot shy of where you wanted to be, but a phenomenal season for you, coming in late and just absolutely rocking it as a substitute driver in the Cup Series on top of your championship in the trucks. If there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, give flowers to, anything like that, the floor is yours. Congrats on a phenomenal race. What a fight all the way through from start to finish.
Yeah, I gotta shout out y'all for putting the show on each and every week. HTL as a whole, CCR, Coast to Coast, Zach for just throwing me in the 24 car, not really knowing what I was doing, but gotta thank my fiance. She watches each and every race. Shout out to Sosi, as I said before. Congrats on the championship. And yeah, just shout out to the team.
An outstanding job here. Pacey Wygent, second place here in Fontana to end out the season. Obviously a Truck Series Championship on Tuesday to take care of everything there. Pacey, hopefully we get to see you on track again very soon. Obviously we get to see you on Sundays in the A-Square Cup Series. Whatever comes next, enjoy it. And obviously we hope to see you again very soon.
Will do.
That was Pacey Wygent, the second place finisher here tonight. We'll move on to the driver that finished second in the championship for a third consecutive season, fourth place on track here tonight. A valiant effort for Shad Swatsworth to only 2 laps led, but the 18 cars in the front of the field all night long. Shad, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You get a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Obviously, the deflation can't be any more significant here. You had a fantastic shot, came in, nothing really to lose. You came in here, no wins, just a lot of consistency, and that consistency carried through again. Top 5s throughout the entire playoffs here. But obviously, Josh Susie with the race win. It's another season being runner-up. First of all, the emotion. Obviously, a long race, very intense in the car, having a chance to decompress. What's the emotion going through this? And then kind of break down how the race was for you, especially at the end where it was just trying to find a way around the 81.
I mean, emotion, yeah, it sucks, obviously. 2 in a row. Finishing second.
3 in a row.
Or, yeah, 3, I don't know, whatever it is. But I guess I'm the Mark Martin of the league. Yeah, I mean, Sosi was fast. Bianca was fast. Fortunately, Proudfoot kind of got taken out early. But I felt like the three of us championship contenders that were left all were really quick. I felt like when it came to Sosi, I might have been a little better on the long runs. And there at the end, I thought I was sitting in a good position, running second, and just didn't get any help from behind. Typically, throughout the whole race, guys were pushing whoever was in second and would allow that second place guy to get a run, and I just could not get it. I tried to back up the corners and try to get a run on exit. I could close a little bit, but just could not burst the bubble. And yeah, I mean, he drove the wheels off the thing there at the end to keep it in front, because I know I was doing the exact same thing and couldn't get there. But yeah, it sucks. I wish I would have got some help from some people that say they're my friends, but they would rather go for a second place and not push a guy that they've been racing with for years. So not happy with that. Obviously, my look towards those people changes. But as far as the race overall, I thought it was really well. The cautions there at the end didn't hurt me, didn't help me. Obviously, it's never good when you starting and going. It's hard to find that rhythm again, and these cars were extremely loose on the restart, especially on the bottom. I lost it at one point when I was at the lead, and yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I guess I'll have to try again some other time.
Obviously, a long season for you. Next season, there's a 2-month break. Obviously, it's a bit of an up in air. It's like, okay, what happens here going into season 5? You finished second place. You've been a championship contender just about every single season HTL's been around. What does next season look like? What's the missing piece for you to try to get over that hump? Obviously, it's a hard question to ask when you're so fresh out of this race. You went winless this season, but you were competitive. This is probably one of the most competitive seasons we've seen, and you were right there in the thick of it. Was there anything you could look back and be like, there's something that you could have improved on that maybe could have just given you a slightly better edge throughout the season up to this point? Or was this genuinely your best shot and it was just circumstance?
I mean, obviously I could have practiced a little bit more, but with work and having kids, it's hard to find time. Some of these younger drivers in this league are still in high school and have all the time in the world, but when you have a bunch of responsibilities and a wife that already complains that you're on this thing, it's hard to find the time. But I mean, I try to run as many laps in practice as I could, and try to find the speed that the top people are running. As far as getting a win, I was close a couple times through there at the end. Finishing top 5s, obviously you're close to the lead. Probably should have had Bristol last week, but I just burned the tires off. But you know, looking into next season, I'm gonna have to look to see what the schedule looks like. I was not a big fan of the schedule. These tracks that NASCAR does not go to in real life is tracks I think we need to take off the schedule until we're running, you know, dang near caution-free races. I think we need to just stick to the basics. So that's kind of weighing in on whether or not I return for next season. And then if we have any, I don't know, crazy rule changes, obviously that plays a part too. But I mean, I like the league. I enjoy running in it. Obviously, been here for 3 seasons now, so you know, we'll see what the future holds for me and HTL. But overall, I mean, I can't complain. Second in the drivers, and I think third in the owners. So, you know, overall good season for not winning a race.
Well, you did a phenomenal job here. Obviously, once again, a championship contender, second place in the championship here for Shad Swatsworth. Before we let you go, and obviously let you get ready for whatever comes next, whether it's the next HTL season or whatever's next in the road for Shad Swatsworth, if there's anyone you shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the championship fight. A well-fought effort here for Car 18 in Season 4. Fourth place here in the race, second place in the championship here in the HTL Cup Series.
Yeah, shout outs to Blake, to Alfred, Those two do a lot of behind the scenes. Meredith as well. The admins. It's not easy running a league with 35 different personalities and 35 different attitudes, and trying to get everybody to respect one another and drive clean is not easy. And HTL seems to start out rough every season with new people, and then by the end of the season, usually these races are pretty clean. Thank my teammates, Kate, Josh Gaiman there at the end, Dylan McDonald, who started the season with us. I definitely appreciate the advice, the questions I bounce off of them, and them trying to help me become faster and better at tracks. And then I want to thank the ABN team owner, you, Carmen, for bringing me on and letting me join the team. It's been an outstanding year. And another thing, too, I want to thank you and the plethora of announcers you've had with you throughout the season. All of you all do a great job, and it's always fun going back and watching these races again. And thanks for a great season.
Absolutely. A fantastic season. We appreciate all the effort that went into this season, drivers included. Chad, congratulations again on the effort here. Second in the championship, fourth on track, but a phenomenal season nonetheless. A lot to be proud of there for car 18 here in season 4. Chad, enjoy the result. A very hard-fought race here for you, and hopefully we get to see you again in April when HTL rolls back around again.
I appreciate it. Congrats to Sosi on the championship.
Absolutely. Congratulations. That was Chad Slotsworth on the 4th place finish for him. We've got one more person to talk to, and it's none other than Josh Soucy, the race winner. Not only that, series champion Josh Soucy. We get to deal with him. We get to talk to him and have a conversation on the champion in victory lane still. He's had to listen to everyone else have their flowers here. Now it's time to talk to the champion, Josh Soucy. This is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
I gotcha.
Champion of HTL in season 4, 4 race wins, and it came down to the final couple laps there. First of all, how you feeling? Obviously, try to play calm, cool, and collected, but now you've had a chance to decompress. How does this feel for you?
You just gave me goosebumps. It's just definitely decompression for sure. I had to sit in the team chat for quite a while you were doing interviews up here, just still trying to wrap my head around it and playing all the scenarios in my head of the stuff that went wrong and almost went wrong and everything I had to overcome. I think I'm still in a little bit of shock and just trying to soak in the moment as best I can. It's been a hell of a season.
Obviously, for you, it started off fantastic. A win at Daytona. You bookmarked the season with wins, but then there was a slump in the middle of the season. Obviously, you talk about the power rankings curse. That almost happened twice, but then you sort of just powered through it in the playoffs here, and the competition kept getting harder and harder and harder, especially tonight, where obviously you had some laps led, but it was by far a walk-away event. Ending the season at a track like Fontana, where it can be so wild, compared to the races we saw before Bristol 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we had Talladega in the playoffs here, Watkins Glen, a whole wide variety of tracks. What was this feeling? What was the season like for you, especially trying to get back on the right track here? Because it's one of those races, it's one of those situations where it's very much a situation where obviously you start slumping, you go through that mid-season slump, and it can just snowball. What was it for you getting back on track to get back in that form where you started going and you won back-to-back races to round out the regular season? What was that for you, going and shaking off all of that mid-season fog to win those 2 races and then be so consistent in the playoffs themselves to be in this position to not only be a championship contender but be a favorite in that fight?
Well, it's like you just said. I had that. It was like 2.5 months, 10, 12 weeks straight. Just like everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and like there's maybe 2 or 3 of those that was self-induced, but the rest of it just caught up in the worst possible situation, and your confidence starts to take a hit, and you wonder like, what am I doing wrong? And getting that first win before the back-to-back was the godsend. Like, just flip the switch that no, I still know what I'm doing. I still have the talent. Like, I have the ability. I just need the situations to play out right. I need to stop getting caught up in everything and just keep grinding. And getting those back-to-back was really a huge momentum boost. And honestly, if you look at the points, without those back-to-backs, I might not have made it into the Final Four with how the Final 8 went. Cruise through the first round, everything is peachy, honky-dory. Start the second round, and then boom, immediately lap one at Watkins Glen. Here we go again. Like, you got to be kidding me. In a huge hole, purely stage point mode for the next 2 races. Got in through some fortune and misfortune of others, and doing what I had to do, and then you come here tonight, outside interference, completely mess up qualifying, have to start in the back, try to play the fuel strategy, caution comes out, drive through the field, then have to pit because you don't have enough fuel anyway, go a lap down, take the wave around, drive through the field again, make a green flag stop, and we have a caution cycled out. Okay, I come in, take no tires, gonna come out with the lead under the caution, and I get doored coming down pit road, have to come back in, so give up the lead at the back of the field again. Like, there's one thing after another, and through all that stuff, and I'm at 8x, the 12x drive through, that's weighing on me the whole last half of the race. I heard your proclamation in qualifying of the back to the front challenge. I just didn't think I'd have to do it 5 times in this race.
Obviously, not an easy race for you, and obviously a fantastic effort in that, despite the fact you had to go to the back of the field 5 times in this race. You led 24 laps in this race, almost a fifth of the race. Obviously, no green white checkers. That was a very fortunate situation there. Now it's a championship, and you'll be entering season 5 with a team that is going to be expanding rapidly. Obviously, Lady Liberty Motorsports, Balfreya Motorsports, probably one of the worst kept secrets in the HTL paddock. Now you get to lead that team as the defending series champion. What comes next for you? Obviously, it's a loaded question. There's 2 months between now and Daytona in late April. But what comes next? You've got the championship now. No one's ever done back-to-back. No one's won more than one plate race. You get to try to do both as a defending champion of both the winner at Daytona and the series champion in season 5. What's that process been for you, not only building that team up or being a part of that effort as that team has expanded and built up? And obviously, how do you focus on also returning and being a championship competitor again? Because whether it was race control, which you were last season, or a driver, you're pretty good at this stuff, and you made your mark in so many ways this season.
Yeah, I mean, season started out as clear-cut leader of the team, right? Like, most experience, time on sim, probably talent level, saying that modestly. Being in that mentor role, had some young talent, some underrated talent, like with Lily. You're in that mentor role, trying to guide people, trying to share your knowledge and your tips and your tricks, and then that got shaken up. Ideally or realistically, I wasn't a part of any of that. Like I told Kevin, man, I'm just showing up on Mondays and I'm turning left and sometimes right. And during practice, teammates show up, I'll extend my knowledge on lines and braking and master cylinders and all that good stuff, and try to lead by example. But as far as the workings of the team go, other than keeping me updated, I really don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to play any factor in hirings and firings and switching rides and all that stuff. And it was unfortunate, we had to lose a couple members. We had a huge pickup in Brandon what a talent that guy is, and that really, I think, pushed me because steel sharpens steel, and he's definitely got the talent level. This could have easily been him tonight. If circumstances had played out different, I could have been the one in that first wreck instead of him, and then you could be talking to him as champion right now, which would have been fine as long as Lady Liberty car got the drivers and hopefully the owners. That was the goal, like I said last week, and we pushed each other, we resourced off each other, and then it sounds like the structure of the team is completely changing again for next year. And if you thought steel sharpening steel with just the two of us was an issue, now I think the stable is going to be, I guess you could call it Hendrick level, and your competition's probably going to be your teammates. Not to discount anyone else in the league, but when you take a step back and you look at the top talents in the league and who's constantly fighting for wins, I mean, you can kind of put the pieces together, and I think that's going to be great because it's going to take some pressure off my shoulders on trying to do so much in a leadership role and just focus on a driver and a teammate. So that's exciting. I'm just going to enjoy these 2 months off, keep racing in my Wednesday Open Set League and running NIS Opens and stuff with my Nitro team, and keep the talent level there and not let it get rusty, and then show up strong and motivated for when season 5 inevitably hits, and keep an eye on what's going on here, what rule changes are going to go into effect. There's a couple things I'd like to see implemented, like championship race. I don't think we need to have an incident limit, just because that almost cost me tonight through no fault of my own. I understand why it's there, but I don't think you can have that be a determinative factor on who your champion is, and it very well could have played a part tonight. And so I'll be keeping a close eye on everything that's going on, schedule, and just try to enjoy it. All the pressure's off now. I know you mentioned winning another plate race, winning the championship. That's not even on my mind right now because I know the talent that's in this league. And I was very fortunate this year to get the 4 wins that I got, get the couple of poles, overcome the horrendous slump, and make it through the second round of the playoffs, and then capitalize on tonight when it almost went horribly wrong several times. So I just want to enjoy this. I'm looking forward to working with the new teammates come next season. And then hopefully I can do one of the or both of those things that you just mentioned. But if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to predict anything. That'd be way too unfair to all the drivers that are in this league, and especially at a plate track, anyone in this roster can win it. And just like you see with real life, it's just a matter of chance. You can do everything you can to put yourself in the situation, but you know how plate racing goes. And then I could have a season like this year. Gaiman didn't win a race, missed the playoffs. That could easily be me next year. Caitlin had misfortunes and missed a race, and that knocked her out of the playoffs. Like, there's so many outside factors that you can't predict. You can't look too far ahead. So I'm just going to enjoy this and keep an eye on the league, what's going on. And, once we get closer to the start, we can start making a game plan. But that's thankfully a ways away.
Obviously, it's going to be a lot of fun talking about the off season here. You get to soak in and enjoy the championship and worry about April when April comes. It's going to be our job to do the predictions, and you bet you're going to be number 1 in those power rankings come next season. But before we let you go and let you celebrate with your team, obviously your team was ecstatic. They were with you every step of the way, celebrating with you as soon as you crossed the checkered flag. Checkered flag. Wow, English has failed me. I've been at this way too long. They were cheering with you all night long. But if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Obviously, don't spoil any future teammates. We'll hear about that when that comes up. But if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to in particular, obviously teammates, obviously team member Kevin Gibney, anyone at all, the floor is yours. Congrats on the championship, on your 4th race win, a very historic season for you. Soak it all in and enjoy it. But if there's anyone to shout and give flowers to, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, Lady Liberty Motorsports, right? And that extends to Kevin primarily for taking a flyer on me. I mean, very few people in this league knew how I could drive or knew about me other than doing race control last year. So when I decided to step away from that and I wanted to be a part of the competition, because watching it every week and amping me up made me want to be out on the track. He took the flyer, he took the risk, he signed me to the team, he helped me be integral founding block of this team and start it from the beginning. So there's something special about that. Not just coming into someone else's paddock and even if search situation would have worked out the same, it's not the same, right? When you're part of the building blocks and the very foundation of something you help create, it's pretty special. So huge shout out to Lady Liberty, all of our technical alliances, anyone that's coming aboard. I'm looking forward to having you. Big shout out to Nitro Racing. If you need open set for A, B, or C car, they're the place to go. Check them out. Big shout out to my Turtle Shell Motorsports gang. I know 09, I think his name in chat is, gave me a shout out pre-race. Appreciate you, man. Big shout out. And the admins, they do a hell of a job. They have to deal with a lot. They don't get enough respect or thanks. You hear it in the post-race interviews every week, but it's not the same. So a really big shout out to everything they have to deal with and try to make this as best of a league they can and the most fair league that they can possibly make rule-wise. So thank you for all your hard work. Obviously, the broadcast, we couldn't put this on for anyone and everyone to watch live or after the fact without you. So big shout. Please try not to let the curse be so damn bad this time with the power rankings. That's real. Like, you laugh, but I really think that thing's real. So I'll try to bear the beginning of next season if that does come to fruition. But if it goes horribly wrong, I want you to know it's on your shoulders, and I blame you personally. Yeah. So all the drivers that showed up and raced the championship for clean, thank you sincerely. I know you're there to also get the best finish you can and try to win the race, but recognizing what's on the line for us 4 and 5, really, if you want to count Pacey trying to get that owner's title, really appreciate it. There's a couple people that cut me some big breaks during this race. You know who you are. Thank you. And the championship 4, hell of a fight. Unfortunately, Brendan had bad luck, but Bianca was up there. Shad was up there all night. It could have gone any way at any point in time. So Shad, big shout out. Thank you for running me clean. Pacey, you had me worried, but thank you for battling Shad and not catching up to me. And yeah, man, we're going to celebrate a little bit. We do got to work in the morning, but I appreciate everyone's hard work, all the stuff that goes on. I think next season is going to be even more entertaining and more competitive. And I can't wait to see what's to come.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, work tomorrow, but you've got an entire 2 months to celebrate the championship. Josh, congratulations on it again. 4 race wins, bookending the season with wins and a championship to boot for Lady Liberty Motorsports. Enjoy it, and hopefully we get to see that 81 back on track here very soon. Absolutely fantastic job, Josh, and congratulations.
Thank you. Let's go. And big shout out to Blake for the fire paint scheme. I almost forgot him.
Absolutely fantastic paint scheme. The mailman delivered here one last time in season 4. Josh Susi, your HTL Cup Series champion, once again here in Victory Lane in Fontana. Josh, enjoy it.
Thank you.
That was Josh Susi, the champion of season 4 in the HTL Cup Series season. What a season it has been. Now we get to do the hard work. And that is talk about the final results. Everything comes to a point here. Josh Susi, the race winner, 4 race wins on the season, a championship to go with it. Pacey Wygen, 2nd place for Coast to Coast Racing, so close yet so far away. Bobby Blowers in 3rd, then Shad Swatsworth in 4th. Yair Rodriguez in the top 5, then it's Kalen Height, Gary Donaldson, DJ Trout, Ryan Moutre, and Lilac Zier in your top 10. Again, a phenomenal race for all 10 of them. Gary Donaldson ending the season on the top 10 as well. Fantastic work for him. Looking further down the order, Hunter Peach, winner of this race last season, looked competitive again tonight. Strategy did not help him at all. That contact with Constantinu at the end of the race didn't help either. Alfred Dini in 12th, a good rate into the season for him. Lily Pelletier Sharp ends the season in 13th. She had the merry-go-round of effects here for her. William Britton in 14th ends out his season there on the lead lap with Zach Apperson in 15th as well. Then we quickly go through the cars that finish the lap down. Constantinu in 16th, not the way she wanted to finish. She'll be third in the championship here as she moves on to begin her competition in the FTF series coming up here in the off season. Hunter Whitlock in 17th, Josh Arnold in 18th, Zach Meredith, the former series champion, now 17 laps down, but takes the checkered flag to end out his season. In 19th place, Mark Parkhurst. Devastating crash, ends up 20th for him. As we go down the rest, the final page of results here. 30 cars, we can see all 30 of them here tonight. Caleb Eichler, 21st. Now, hey, he wanted to end his season. Everything looked positive for him. He was in the top 10 at one point in this race. Henderson, his race went from bad to worse to even worse. The no good, very bad day of Blake Henderson here in Fontana. Hopefully putting the season behind him. He wants to get back to championship form in Season 5. But that requires gritting through one more tough race here in Season 4. Brandon Proudfoot in 23rd, the championship contender that had the most to fight for and lost the most as a result. 23rd for him, not the way he wanted to end out his tenure in HTL. We see him in ARCs even more, but still, it's a shame that we get to see Proudfoot in this situation. 23rd for him at the finish. Josh Gaiman finishing his time in Arrowhead Racing before moving over to fill that 31 car, takes over in 24th, Connor Morris in 25th in that 34 car, Eli Sasek in 26th, and Kevin Gibney in 27th. Byron Jones ends up his time in the season in 28th. Bren Roberts and Callie Height, the first caution of the race, out early on in this race before we even get to lap 25. They're 29th and 30th in this race respectively. But it's all eyes ahead, not only in the ARC season on Sundays, but on Season 5 beginning in April here tonight.